Alright, everybody. Hey, it's been a weekend. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. Thanks for tuning in today. So today I'm bringing you more updates on Brian Laundrie searches and an update on Dog the Bounty Hunter and his injury. Apparently, he just got injured. But first, today we have a video of Brian's parents removing the memorial and laundry baskets in front of their house last night.
Is there a reason the FBI thinks you're not telling the truth? Do you know where Brian's passport is? Do you have anything to say about Gabby? A lot of the neighbors think you guys know more than you're saying. They're dropped off the sign. They want you to know that they're concerned that you guys know more than you're saying.
Just straight silence. Just remove the whole post and basket. Who knows why? Let's watch that one more time. And then I'll bring what's it called?
Do you guys feel guilty about Gabby?
I'll show you guys a video of it probably during the daytime.
Is there a reason the FBI thinks you're not telling the truth? Do you know where Brian's passport is? Do you have anything to say about Gabby? A lot of the neighbors think you guys know more than you're saying. They're dropped off the sign. They want you to know that they're concerned that you guys know more than you're saying.
Oh, he comes back out. I know they played.
Do you guys feel guilty about Gabby?
Yeah. So let's see what actually. See what they did during the daytime in the better. Just pictures of them removing it.
Another weekend.
Here's the Petito family visiting the Florida Memorial.
And coming to an end with Brian Laundrie, still nowhere to be found. Thousands of tips reported, but few leads on his possible whereabouts. Fatigue from the weeks-long investigation is beginning to be felt, but a recent visit from the Petito family to Florida could rejuvenate search efforts. News Nation's Janelle Fort joining us now live from Northport, Florida. And Janelle, what did the family say about their visit?
Rutabaga, they didn't say much, honestly. Gabby Petito's mom, Nicole Schmidt, tweeted out this photo of a heart-shaped cloud in the sky with this caption saying, "Goodbye, Florida. Thanks for showing so much love," and the hashtags America's Daughter and Justice for Gabby. We know that while her parents were here, they were able to take some of those items from that makeshift memorial that's been growing over the past few weeks down at Northport City Hall. The city is actually going to take it down Tuesday of this week. And it's really because this is Florida. It's hot, it's wet, it's humid, and those conditions are really damaging a lot of the items out there. The city says that they're looking into a more permanent memorial. Tentatively, what they have planned is a steel bench that's going to be donated and created by a man up in Indiana. And again, where that memorial is less than 5 minutes from where we are right now in front of the Laundrie house. There's been no one in or out of this home for the past 2 days that we've been here over the weekend. And of course, no signs of Brian Laundrie. And investigators at this point are saying that they believe he could either be dead or alive at this point. One of the big questions that a lot of people are raising about this case, though, is how was Brian Laundrie able to get away in the first place? Why weren't police keeping closer tabs on him? A spokesperson for the Northport Police Department has come out and addressed those questions. They said that they did have surveillance on Brian Laundrie leading up to his disappearance.
I just want to watch this video of them. That sign was up there for like 3 days before the parents took it down.
Does it say? Where are y'all from?
Across the street.
Or you live in the neighborhood?
Whoa! That's not just like anybody, it's their neighbors. I thought it was just, whoa. That's done statements.
This side again. Yeah, there we go. Very good. Hopefully they can see it.
Does it say?
Let's see this other news nation update
Be a
with Brian
signal
Ensign.
Have you found anything in the reserve that belongs to Brian Laundrie? Anything that would be a signal he was there?
No, other than his car, that we know was there at the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park leading to the Carlton.
I remember early on you said that you were still trying to corroborate the parents' story that he went hiking there. Have you been able to? Have you been able to see any video or anything that shows he was there?
Well, certainly we've seen a change in that story recently. We're still keeping a lot of those details of what we believe to have seen and observed and know to ourselves, for the integrity of the investigation. But some of the things that they've said recently, I think, have fit more into that.
So many people are worried right now that this is going to become a cold case. Yeah. Is it becoming a cold case based on what you know?
Well, we need to find something. I think there's so much attention on this that I don't know that this case would ever get to be a cold case. We'll continue to search. We could be searching that Carlton Reserve and nearby lands for a long, long time if we need. It's certainly, there seems to be, for some people, they kind of find it hard to believe that we might be looking for someone deceased out there. That is certainly a possibility.
Based on what you do know, do police believe that Brian Laundrie is still alive?
It's possible. I certainly think that it would not surprise me if he is. It wouldn't surprise me if he's not.
Certainly interesting to hear police there say that it's basically a 50-50 chance whether or not Brian Laundrie is alive right now. They also talked about how the relationship between the Laundries and the police has been changing and evolving. We saw that with our own eyes yesterday when Chris Laundrie, Brian's dad, left this house behind me and went out and assisted police with the search. We're going to have much more of this interview coming up later on News Nation. Nicole?
I appreciate everyone of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub. Help me grow my page. Alright. And the silence. I like that. I think like that same day the dad started to help search for the son. Yeah, this past, it was like Friday, Thursday. I think it was in the last stream when we watched the banner go all around their house. I mean, it's been almost a month in that Carlton Reserve and they still haven't found anything.
Laundrie's parents claim they last saw him, and despite a lot of manpower and plenty of resources, police in Northport, Florida have told News Nation the search could continue for a long, long time. Laundrie is a person of interest in the murder of his girlfriend, Gabby Petito. The two were on a cross-country road trip when he returned home to Florida without her. Her body later discovered in Wyoming. Our Ileana Diaz is in Miami this morning. Ileana, what is the latest on the search? They're saying a long, long time. Do they think he's really going to survive in that reserve?
Hey guys, check out the poll. Let me know what you guys think on the question. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Well, Adrian, no one really knows at this point, but investigators are saying it may take a long time, and that's because there's no notable evidence that at this point could lead to the whereabouts of Brian Laundrie. And there was some interesting news out of North Carolina that a lot of people, especially on social media, have been following. They say that a body was found there, and many people were thinking maybe it was related to Brian Laundrie. Now, the FBI did send us this statement, and it reads, "The body discovered along the Blue Ridge Parkway on Saturday, October 9th, 2021, is part of an ongoing investigation. At this time, there is no evidence to connect or any reason to believe it is related to the search for fugitive Brian Laundrie." Now, this is interesting because it's the first time that we've heard from the FBI.
So basically, they found the body searching for Brian Laundrie. I mean, same thing happened when they were looking for Gabby Petito. They found, I think, another body located near her. This is from Fox, and it's
Another
live.
top story that we've continued to follow here on Live Now from Fox, the continued search efforts for Brian Laundrie, the fiance of deceased Gabby Petito. The death of her is being ruled a homicide initially, and it's hard to believe that it's been nearly a month since Brian Laundrie's parents claim they last saw or heard from him. Well, I do want to head out to Northport, Florida, where Brian is from and where we've had teams outside of his parents' home. We're being joined right now by Fox's Steve Harrigan out there in front of a memorial, it looks like, for Gabby Petito. Steve, good morning to you. What can you tell us?
Morning, Regina. It was a rare appearance last night by Brian Laundrie's parents. They were holed up inside that house, which is really surrounded by media.
The sound of this is pretty hard.
For most of the weekend, just after 11 p.m., they did come out. The reason to do so was to pick up laundry baskets, which someone had left on their front lawn, as well as a poster of Gabby Petito that someone had.
Well, plans are underway to remove the memorial for Gabby Petito that has formed near the courthouse in Northport. That memorial, by the way, has grown over the past few weeks to include dozens of teddy bears and flowers, among other personal items, many of which have been damaged by all the wet weather we've been having. We talked to one person who felt compelled to stop by today to think for a moment, to just pay tribute and pay her respects.
I just wanted to see everything, you know, before they just disassembled all of it. And I don't know, the story just kind of drew me in. You know, like I said, she just was, you know, she had an infectious smile, and just, you know, she seemed happy, you know, a very happy person in life, and she just kind of drew you in.
The memorial will be removed on Tuesday, and those items will be given to the Petito family. Within a few weeks, we want to tell you that there will be a permanent memorial, including a bench at that site for Gabby.
Nice, nice. I was just watching Ick and Mel earlier, and somehow this relates to Dog the Bounty Hunter, so let's just watch this.
Show called The Truth Unleashed. I'm just going to play a small snippet.
This whole Gabby case, like, I was at home for how long dealing with someone I was scared of for a while, and he didn't do anything about it. And because it's another Andrew Lester type case, he's first one on the scene, does whatever he has to get there.
So she's coming up with a show, I guess, to talk about the situations that she's been in and that people go through. And she's still coming at Dog the Bounty Hunter. Now, with regards to the lawsuit, so Dog the Bounty Hunter has responded, and this is on Newsweek. He said the claims made against Dog the Bounty Hunter by convicted felon Mike Donovan are malicious, bogus claims without any merit. A representative of Chapman's legal team told Newsweek the lawsuit is nothing more than a response to Dog refusing to enter into an agreement with Donovan and his business, and becoming aware that besides Donovan's criminal background, there were multiple active fraud investigations into his company, Libre de Nexus, from several state attorney generals. Dog is very confident that the fictional claims will be dismissed.
I guess Dog the Bounty Hunter has haters out there. Yeah, but wait, let's look at this So we did watch this in my
So we're
last
joined right now
live,
by
but I'm not sure how much of it is still in there.
Ashley Banfield, host of Banfield. Thank you for being with us very bright and early this morning. Ashley, you have a special guest on. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, hi, Adrienne. That
It's
might have
her
been able to
father,
help
Joe.
them. That would be Brian Laundrie's family. They were stonewalled at, every step of the way. And then
Oh, this is weird because I thought they would actually play like, yeah, this.
tonight, a remarkable hour of television. Gabby Petito's father, Joe Petito, joins me live, along with 3 other parents who a lot these days, and that is, how are you doing? How is your family doing?
It's been kind of a whirlwind, with all the media stuff that's been going on. But we actually just got back to our house in Vero Beach, so now the grieving process can really start. So today was a rough day, and I imagine there's going to be a lot more of those before they become good. So we'll see what happens.
Is it any consolation, although I can't imagine what consolation even feels like, to know that you are not alone in your journey?
No, it's not a consolation, but it is appreciated. As of right now, maybe later it will be, but as of right now, I mean, listen, there's a lot of support. We have a great support group, which I don't know if everyone else had, but we're able to kind of lean on each other, which is great, because there is 4 of us, and then family and friends, and social media has been crazy, in terms of supportive, so social media wasn't as prevalent as it was, today, as it was back when all the other guests had their worst day of their lives. So,
John Walsh, you have become the face of fighting crime in America. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know your story and why you embarked on the mission that you did to catch people who've done wrong. I think if anyone has sage advice for Joe Petito, it would without question be you. Is there something that you would like to start off the conversation saying?
Well, as you said earlier, Joe and his family have joined the horrible club. Myself and the other 2 ladies on tonight belong to the parents of murdered children. And I would say this to Joe. I've been watching him. He's handling it in his family with a lot of dignity and a lot of poise. It's the worst thing that you can imagine to happen. And I would say to him that a couple of harsh things that you have to realize is that pretty soon Brian Dirty Laundrie, and I call the Laundries Dirty Laundrie because they are so dirty. He's just a coward that probably beat to death a
Dirty Laundries.
beautiful young girl. But you've got to be strong, because this is already starting to drop out of the news cycle. I've seen it on every missing child case that I've worked on. Elizabeth Smart, the FBI gave up on her and told Ed and Lois Smart that she was dead in the desert. They'd never find her body, and they should have a memorial. And Ed Smart said to me, John, should we give up? I said, no. I profiled her 17 times on America's Most Wanted. Found out the guy who took her, put the word out in a couple spot, watched America's Most Wanted, the 17th episode, and spotted her alive in Sandy, Utah. But the harsh reality is that I believe the public is going to be the key in social media in catching this horrible coward and his despicable parents, who are going to pay someday. They truly are dirty, the Dirty Laundries. I can't believe this guy's going out searching. Where was he trying to help before? It's just a giant ruse. I said it, that he was never in that swamp, and they spent $1.5 million of Florida taxpayers' money and gave him 4 or 5 more days to get ahead. That Johnny Cochran wannabe Steve Bertolino, what a piece of crap lawyer he is. But anyway, I say to Joe and his family, murders of children's families wind up with terrible problems. I learned one thing: be kind and loving. You'll have a good day, your wife will have a bad day. Your family will be up one day, they'll be down. Stay healthy, get your sleep, because you're going to be the guy that's going to keep this story. You and Gabby's mother and your new wife and Gabby's new husband. It's going to fall on you to keep this guy's face in the media. That's how we find missing children. 80% of missing children are found because of pictures and on the media. I caught 1,422 of uncatchable.
Let's just skip to more of Joe Petito speaking.
Is there any specific advice? Are there any particular questions that you can even think of at this early stage that these three fellow club members may be able to help you with?
And listen, I know the basics. I should be getting sleep.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub and help me grow my page.
You know, eating more. Take time for me, you know, but is there other things that I should be paying attention to? You know, I mean, we have people talk to the kids and, you know, myself and my wife, obviously, because trying to process this takes more than just one person. But I'd be asking, are there things that I'm missing at that point?
You know, Beth, you have a son, right? You know, named Matthew. That was Natalie's older brother. I mean, you had to do what Joe is doing now, and the family. They have to deal with their other children and try to make sense of this for the other kids. The same with John Walsh. But Beth, just maybe touch on that for Joe and that, you know, that task.
Well, when there are other siblings involved and other family members, you do have to be conscientious of that. But a lot of times, and I think I'm hearing from Joe to say that they've got a pretty good network and to help to nurture this, you know, the family, which is so important because I think Joe's focus is, like he's saying, he's kind of, you tend to want to neglect yourself because you feel like you're in such a fight for justice and answers. But in order to seek the best justice for Gabby and to see this through, you know, I always recommend that. And it was something that Harris Faulkner, I feel like she had to give me permission early on that it's okay to have those creature comforts for myself because we don't know how long the journey is in seeking justice and answers. Sometimes it's a marathon, Joe. Sometimes it happens, you know, sometimes you have recovery of your loved one's remains and you have the perpetrator brought to justice and things are done fairly swiftly. But other times, you know, we don't really know what we're settling in for. So, you know, I'm really think that it's okay for us to tell you that it's okay to lay down your sword every once in a while and just nurture yourself a little so you can remain so strong for Gabby in seeing this through the end and seeing justice for her. And, you know, other family members will help support and take up that caring for other individuals so you can really, really focus and stay proactive. And I think it's so important what you're doing, like what I mentioned at first. You know, when we first are experiencing these tragedies, we're reactive and we're just reacting to everything. But now I feel like, Joe, you've taken it to being proactive. And that is the best step that I think that any person can do in searching for their loved one and getting justice and answers. So
it brings up a really good point, Beth, about the various stages along the way. And I don't know, Joe, where you and your family are at this point. I know during the funeral, Gabby's stepfather mentioned how hard it was to come back from Wyoming because he wanted to bring, Gabby back to you. And you, I would assume, have to be in the dark about some things because this is an open investigation. Help me to understand how you're managing sort of where you fall into the priority list of being informed about every step of the way.
We want answers, and we know we're not going to get the answers right away, especially with the way current events are, as they are this evening. So, again, we're a group of four. It's not just me. A lot of parents don't have that, So, the fact that we are four, we get to bounce things off each other and lean on each other. Especially if someone's having a bad day and you can notice that. We're like, you know what? Why don't we take a step back and we'll reevaluate and make sure things are, are okay. So we're trying to stay focused on things for the foundation. How can we honor Gabby? Making sure it's not meaningless to us.
Oh yeah, let me just, give a quick shout out to that organization. I'm pretty sure they just made a Twitter page about it. Let's see. Gabby Petito Foundation guys. I'm pretty sure it was this past weekend that they were really aggressively promoting it. And I think they have an event coming up, within the next week in New York, October 17th in New York, Patchagog. I probably messed that name up. Patchogue, New York. Uh, go back to
and making sure that we can make a difference and make that change that we need to have happen. I know it's for a selfish reason, but the outcome is still the same, that we want to help and save people. And we think we can actually make a big difference. There's already starting to be a lot of talk, a lot of people that are finding out ways to make plans to make sure that they leave in a safe, their significant others in a safe manner, and that's huge.
you were just on. You were just on the site.
Huge for us. We just want to do more for that. We're seeing people tag Gabby Petito, and their cases are start coming, more to the top and being investigated, and as they should be. And every person should have the type of coverage, or at least close to it. And we're starting to see that more and more, which is exciting. But we got a lot of work to do. Us, the networks. If there's a network that's not dedicating a few moments to this or longer, as it should be, and that's we should be writing, as social media, tell them this is what we want to do, this is what we want to see. We want to make sure these kids come home, and we want them home quick. So things like that, making that change is going to be huge.
And for you, there's still you're in the middle of the process of even trying to memorialize Gabby and have a funeral. You had your memorial, but do you know if you're getting close to being able to bring her home and actually have that final funeral for Gabby?
We hope so. We got some, got some more things that they're working out. I have no idea. But they do tell us it will be soon, sooner than later, which is exciting. And we just want to get together and escort her home properly. And this way we can do what we need to do as the four of us and really process it together and really lean on each other, because that's what's going to need to happen.
When we come back after the break, John Walsh, I want you to weigh in on that process of where you fall in the priority of police information.
Hey guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Check out the poll. I just asked a new question. Let me know what you think.
During an investigation, during an active investigation, an open investigation that can sometimes go on for days and weeks. And from the people on the screen right now, I'm hoping it is helpful at a time when I think this is invaluable information. Is it something you can pocket away?
It is. It's actually one of the reasons that I wanted to come on. I just, like I said before, I just flew into Florida today. In fact, I think I got in at about 8:30 this evening. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to do it, because I wanted to get that insight. I actually want to get their contact information to, afterwards too. I can, maybe possibly bounce things off of, when I am seeing something, or if I have a question, because this is, it's just like nothing I've ever heard, nothing I've ever seen, nothing I've ever felt. And there's only a few people that can share it. And it's the people that are on the screen, and I'll forever be indebted to them.
I have a strong feeling that as soon as we sign off, those phone numbers will be in your inbox, and I feel like I already have consent from the three guests on the screen. You all have been so magnanimous, not just to Joe Petito, but to others as well. I've been in that resonated,
yes.
Joe. Tell me.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions that are going through you, and like this is such a rush, and not taking the time and all this other stuff, but it's a roller coaster, and yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be tomorrow and all this other stuff, but it's good to know that, like I said, I'm on the right path, and if I can stay focused with the foundation and stuff, I think good things will come. If I stay out of that rage and anger and stuff, you guys have gone through these range of emotions. You're still going through these range of emotions. I'm sure still, but at least there are people out there that understand that I can bounce questions off of, because I'll tell you, sometimes you just try to make sense of it, and there's nothing you can say. There's nothing that you can make sense in your head about it. So I appreciate it.
When we come back after the break, there are
Ashley.
4 foundations that these 4. Oh, go ahead, just quickly, John. We're just going to fit in a quick break. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say 2 things. I found out that most of the people on the planet are good, but there's some really evil, horrible people. America, the richest, most powerful country in the world, we're #1 in sex trafficking of children and women. So there's a lot of really bad people out
I
there.
did not
And I know
realize
Joe is
that.
busting to ask me. You can
Whoa.
ask the cops.
Is
I
that
love
true?
cops, but they need to talk to you and tell you what's going on. There are 2 women here whose cases were so-so. Beth Holloway's case was almost as badly handled as Adam's. If I could roll the clock back, I'd be right there saying, you got to tell me. I've passed laws that the cops have to, and the DAs, they have to talk to you. You need to know. You're not going to tell anybody else. You're not going to say it to the media and blow the case. And if they made mistakes, you have the right to ask them. How did they let this guy get out the front door? The #1 suspect, FBI and these local cops. The guy went on the run way early before they ever knew he was in the house. Joe, you have the rights. You can sit down and say, my wife and my new wife and Gabby's mother, we need to know what's going on here. We don't need to find it out on the media. Treat us with some, on television, treat us with some dignity. And I can't wait to meet you, Joe, because I've walked in those shoes. You know, I've walked in your shoes. There's a lot
We're
you
going to
need
make
to
that
do.
happen.
Yep.
Without question, we're going to make that happen. When we come back after the break, also, I want to highlight the 4 remarkable foundations that these 4 remarkable people have launched and are launching, and how you can be a part. Back after this.
Wild.
Welcome back. Aaron Runyon, Beth Holloway, John Walsh, and Joe Petito are still with.
See if any updates came out. These are all today. Let's see what I know we've this. There's no. I'm pretty sure what's it called? Dog the Bounty Hunter got injured or injured his ankle while searching for Brian down in Florida, so he's heading back to Colorado to meet with his doctor, according to WFLA Josh Benson. And his daughter also confirmed it, Lisa Chapman, which I believe she does have actually a Twitter. But also heard it did get hacked, but let's see. Okay, we can go. Use. What is this? Well, what's it called? Yep, Lisa Chapman confirmed it. Dog is heading back to Colorado temporarily to just handle his injury. And seems like he'll be back eventually. Maybe. And oh, he's leaving a team in place in Florida. Good guy, good guy. Definitely prior to. Oh yeah, this is the same things we just saw. No need for this. Let's see if WFLA. No, completely wrong person. Have any updates? I really we saw this, but we can watch it.
Across the country, there are thousands of tips on his possible whereabouts, but nothing is sticking. However, a recent visit from the Petito family to Florida could breathe new life into.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Thank you for watching and going down the rabbit hole with me.
Search efforts. News Nation's Janelle Fort joins us now live from Northport, Florida. And Janelle, what did the family say about their visit?
Well, Ruta Bay, this was a quiet trip. Aside from putting out this tweet around 4 o'clock this afternoon, the family didn't say much. Gabby Petito's mom, Nicole Schmidt, shared a photo of a heart-shaped cloud in the sky with the caption, "Goodbye, Florida. thanks for showing so much love. And then the hashtags, justice for Gabby and America's daughter. Now, we know that the family was able to take some of the items from the makeshift memorial that's been growing over the past few weeks down at Northport City Hall. The city is actually going to take that memorial down this Tuesday because the items there have been exposed to the elements here in Florida, and it's damaged them, creating somewhat of a mess. And the city says that what they want to do is put a more permanent memorial there. Tentatively, what they have in the works is putting a steel bench that's going to be donated by and constructed by a man up in Indiana. And again, that memorial is less than 5 minutes from where we are right now outside of the Laundrie home.
It's glad that they have to see it every day for the rest of their lives, or every day that they live there and have to go out somewhere. Hey guys, check out the poll in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna end it soon. Let me hear your opinion on it.
Tonight, one thing that we did see, a man come down here and begin yelling and screaming in front of the house, and then dropping about a dozen laundry baskets on the lawn there. Even with all the ruckus, we didn't hear a peep from the laundry house. We've been here for the past 2 days. We haven't seen anyone in or out of that home. And of course, no sign of Brian Laundrie. It's been more than 3 weeks since he's been missing, and investigators say at this point they wouldn't be surprised if he was found dead or alive. Now, a big question that we've been hearing from people about this case is they're wondering how Brian Laundrie was able to get away in the first place, why police weren't keeping a closer eye on him.
See, they did say, like, I'm so confused, because the police did say, we have an eye on Brian Laundrie. And then it turned into a whole missing person case. So, police say watching Brian Laundrie, and we'll see every news article about it, or every news video about it. Or know where he is. No. It's absolutely wasting your time out here. But, police know where Brian Laundrie. I want to hear just the deputy say that again. Yeah, we've got eyes on him. I don't think you do. Well,
we're looking through wooded areas. We're looking through bodies of water. We're looking through swampy areas, and we're deploying the resources to be able to do that. We have air units, we have drones, we have the swamp buggies, air boats, multiple law enforcement agencies. We have ATVs, we have UTVs, and we have officers on foot as well. So we're deploying every resource to get through any terrain that we encounter in our search areas.
Why is it important? I mean, we're certainly hearing a lot of feedback that we're wasting.
Hey guys, leave a like and sub. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Let's go down the rabbit hole. I'm trying to find where that police officer said we have eyes on Brian.
In Wyoming, where the couple had been
That completely loses him.
Authorities have ruled Petito's death a homicide, but they haven't yet determined what caused the homicide. Yesterday, we know the FBI issued an arrest warrant for Laundrie on a charge of debit card fraud, but they still haven't found him. So the search continues. Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon joins us live from the Carlton Reserve, this big wilderness area near the Laundrie's home in Northport. And Kim, 6 days of searching. There's got to be something, some reason that...
Let's see Fox Tampa Bay. It's going to be a lot to sift through here. They're live Wednesday. Possible sighting here. I was in the North Carolina Appalachian Trails. I love this guy. Best, what's it called? I don't know what his rank is. Sheriff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's sheriff. Oh, it's right there on the badge. Sheriff of Polk County. Gives the best updates on any case.
Gabby Petito, I'm not involved in that investigation. My team's not involved in that investigation.
Hopefully we can find him.
I could only speculate based upon news reports, and as you know, those are incomplete at best, and sometimes they can be fictionalized at worst. I can tell you that according to Florida law,
maybe this is a, let's say, a louder one.
clips and reels on YouTube because the area of the people joining us from Germany, from Norway, from Denmark, from Australia, all over the world have been joining us.
I'm not involved in that investigation. My team's not involved in that investigation. I could only speculate based upon news reports, and as you know, those are incomplete at best, and sometimes they can be fictionalized at worst. I can tell you that according to Florida law, when she was a victim of domestic violence originally, he would have been arrested. I can tell you at this sheriff's office, when he showed up with her car and she was no place to be found, we would never have let him out of our custody that day. Other than that, I'm not sure where their investigation is.
Interesting comments here from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, saying that if Brian had come back and it had been in his jurisdiction, he never would have let Brian.
Appreciate all you guys voting on the last poll. It was almost evenly split. 53% said no. 46 said yes. What's it called? I just asked another poll question. Check it out, guys. Let me know what you think. Dog the Bounty Hunter news. Today. Yeah, we do know he's injured. WFLA reported that. And so, yeah, we see multiple videos saying he injured his ankles going back to Colorado. Oh. Well, if I ever find the video, I'll definitely bring it back up. But let's hear Cassie Laundrie's full interview with that protester on her front lawn. So terrible.
Thank you.
We want to know what the hell.
No, hey!
We have fully cooperated with the police since September 11th when they called. I did not say that I saw my brother. I said I haven't been able to speak to him in reference to the time when I was called by the police. Since that point, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I've been honest and polite. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. The thing about it is we know Gabby's family. Gabby is...
We do too.
What do you want us to do?
We cooperate with the police. We're not supposed to talk to anybody, and you're making my children cry.
Was Brian with you on September 1st? Did he come to this house?
Yes, he came to this house with my parents in their Mustang, not the van. I did not know that he took that van back. I found out the next day with everybody else. We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else. And I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this, and you're not helping.
Why your parents? Why your parents? You're talking about
because
Chris.
They're not talking to us either.
Why aren't they talking to you guys?
If I knew, I would say. I don't know.
Do you think they're involved, your parents?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We know.
You're not involved?
We have literally been finding everything out with the news with like everybody else. My kids are upset. You're upsetting my neighbors, and all we want to do is let you guys know that we don't know.
What happened? What did you guys do on the 6th through the 8th at Fort DeSoto?
We were at Fort DeSoto on the 6th. We got there at around 2 o'clock, and we left around 8 because the kids had school the next day.
On the 6th?
On the 6th. We only stayed for about 6 hours.
Who was there?
My mom.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like on the video and sub to my page to help me grow my page.
My dad, my brother.
Would you guys be willing to go on record to say that you would like your brother Brian Laundrie to turn himself over to the authorities?
What was going on at Fort DeSoto campground? What were you guys doing there? Like, where there was a campfire?
We had s'mores. We had dinner.
What did Brian say anything about Gabby?
We had our kids there. Nothing came up.
He didn't say anything about Gabby.
No, we've told the FBI everything.
Did Brian go? Did
The
you?
world does not need to know what the FBI knows, and that's why we're silent.
They've asked us to not
Iconic statement of last week. The world does not need to know
say anything, really.
what the FBI knows.
The FBI knows.
Did Brian go?
The
Did you?
world does not need to know what the FBI knows, and that's why we're silent.
They've asked us to not say anything, really.
This is me coming out against them.
They're suffering. Big
We're
time.
suffering.
Well,
They're suffering.
To be fair,
I
they lost a
understand
life.
your view.
I mean, to be fair, they lost a
100%.
life. So
I know.
I
We
really
could've
I feel
too.
bad for you, but again, I don't
No,
feel bad
I
for
know.
you.
That's fine. You feel how
So-
you feel. We how we feel. My kids are upset. You're upsetting my children, who are very upset that they had to find out that their aunt died from you people screaming it at them from the house. So that's not.
Where
fair.
was that at?
On Saturday when you were here.
Your aunt died.
No, their aunt.
Their aunt died.
Yes.
The future aunt.
They considered her aunt. It's Aunt Gabby forever. So
To be honest with you, we can't even hear you inside.
We can.
I mean,
So where else have you seen Brian since
that's
September
it.
1st?
I have not
September
seen
6th.
anybody after 8 o'clock on September 6th. I have not spoken to my parents.
How long did they stay there? Do you know? Like at the Fort DeSoto Grant?
Is
Did
she like
Brian
in the
go off
same
on his own
outfit that
to
she
the
came back
woods
from
or anything?
ABC and did the exclusive in? I just gotta see this.
Did you?
here.
So when he came here September 1st, right? You said he came. What did he come here for?
My parents wanted to.
Alright, so she's like in the same shirt.
I did not know that Brian was.
And ABC did come out with an exclusive like the very next day after this protester filmed her.
Plan to hang out with them. This is not what we want to be doing. This is not how we want the world to find out when we're angry and upset. But I can't have my kids be crying for 3 days in a row.
What did the FBI take out of the house here? Like what?
Nothing.
They came here though.
Yes.
During
we met with them multiple times.
you met with them multiple times. Did they ask you for like polygraphs or anything like that?
No, but
No.
We're not.
we don't know.
We're not involved in this at all.
He's my brother, and that's it.
The parents, we've been outside the parents' home for 2 weeks straight.
I know. I've been
There's
watching.
parents'
Yeah.
home for 2 weeks straight.
I know. I've been
There's
watching.
there's
because
there's people out there. They feel your family's involved. A cloud of suspicion. The reason why we're here for you is because the media
ended up misconstruing what I said when they asked me if I had seen my brother. Like I said in the beginning, they didn't say, "Have you seen Brian?" It was, "What's the weirdest thing about this all?" It was, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I tried to contact.
Hey guys, check out the poll question in the chat. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub to the page for more content.
Contact them after this. I tried to contact my family after this. I hadn't been able to speak to my brother.
Do you know
That's
about
it.
any additional burner phones?
I have no idea.
So you don't know nothing.
No,
Like
he's
after.
my brother that I don't talk to that much.
And the parents ain't talking to you. Your own parents are not talking to you for what reason? They just
The lawyer said no.
whose lawyer?
Their parents' lawyer.
Their
We don't
lawyers.
have a lawyer. We have nothing to hide. We were told not to talk to anybody, and I'm upset that we have to come out and do this and then explain myself to the FBI.
So when Gabby was missing, the parents weren't even looking for her. They weren't even out looking for her.
We don't even know what they knew. We can
Do you
assume.
know that she was missing when they went to Fort DeSoto?
No.
You didn't had
September
no clue that
11th,
she was missing.
The detective that was working with Gabby's mom called me up while we were on vacation.
We were in Orlando.
And then I called her back because we were eating dinner, and I told her everything she needed to know. We told them from day one that we were at Fort DeSoto with them on the 6th and that they came over here on the 1st. The police has known everything that's out there the whole time, from September 11th night on. That's when I became involved, and I knew nothing before that.
Any other
So
questions?
what were your thoughts after you found out she was missing and your brother was here by himself and in her van and ran up $1,000 on her
These
credit
are
card?
things we're not allowed to answer.
And that's
Have you ever seen Brian hit Gabby?
No.
Have you ever seen him fight?
No.
Have you ever seen him hit any woman?
No, I've never seen him be
Domestic
abusive
violence
or
runs your
angry
family.
in anything. No.
You know
No.
that we talked to neighbors. We canvassed your parents' neighborhood.
Yeah.
They heard screams coming out of your parents' house on multiple occasions.
Your parents' home.
Screams.
I don't know what to tell you about
Might have
that.
been our kids. We lived there for a year.
Oh, you lived at the home in Wabasso?
Yeah,
Gabby and Brian lived with us.
When they were in New York.
Brian's family paints him out to be just like a, I don't know, a murderer in cold blood. Like he just was never this angry, and then one day he snapped. Like, come on.
And you never
there had to have been incidents leading up to this, like we saw in the Moab police stop. That was what, 2 weeks before? A little over 2 weeks before it happened.
No argue, no.
Of course, you know, we bicker,
But nothing.
everybody bickers, but nothing like what any, like, no
Nothing that would
domestic
constitute
anything.
domestic violence.
No, yes, or else we would have done something about it.
Right.
Like, I don't stand for that. I was in a bad relationship similar to that, what's saying has happened. I wouldn't let that happen. We're
Not evil monsters were made out to be.
A lot of people just want answers. There's a cloud of suspicion. Nobody came to your house, I'm sure, to after it came out in the media, they said, "Oh, you lied." They said that you misled
I've
the
been accused of lying,
saying
but
that you
it's
didn't
not
see him.
right. I didn't say that I didn't see him. I said I didn't speak to him.
Let's see this.
Brian and his 5-year-old nephew camping at Fort DeSoto Park with their parents.
Since day one, law enforcement
Vanished. The day Cassie learned of his disappearance, she says she immediately told investigators about that camping trip.
It was not hidden from law enforcement. I've been cooperating with the police since day one. I have been in touch with law enforcement.
And now she's calling on her parents to do the same.
Justice for Yappy would look like having someone come forward and tell the truth. I don't know if my parents are involved. I think if they are, then they should come clean.
Cassie says her brother has taken multiple trips for up to 5 days at a time on the Appalachian Trail, where multiple tips have been reported. And over the weekend, a possible sighting was reported to investigators along the nearly 2,200-mile trail near the Tennessee-North Carolina border.
I wasn't sure about what he looked like, and then I went and parked and pulled up the photographs of him, and I'm 99.99% sure that was him.
Police have said they're factoring in Brian's reported skills living off the grid in their search for him, but Cassie says it's unusual for him to be gone for this long.
I'd say Brian's a mediocre survivalist. It wouldn't surprise me if he could last out there a very long time. But also, I don't think anything would surprise me at this point. If the FBI finds him in Timbuktu, I'd be like, all right, well, that's where he was. I've got nothing. I hope my brother is alive because I want answers just as much as everybody else.
Is there something on your cheek here? Looks like, did you get hit in the face?
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually hit you.
Well, like, he grabbed me with his nail.
She says the body cam video from the Moab, Utah police encounter is hard to watch.
It's definitely painful to see everybody just be upset. It was pretty typical of them to argue and try and take space from each other, but people saying they saw public domestic violence, I've never seen anything like that from either of them.
Now she wonders if more could have been done.
I definitely feel like if they had all of the 911 calls from the multiple people they said, that I think that it would have gone a lot differently and we'd be in a different situation.
Cassie says she's as concerned as she is for her brother. She is mourning for Gabby and wants her family to know her heart is with them.
I've been cooperating so that everyone gets answers. They deserve answers.
Gabby's parents sending a message to Brian on the Dr. Phil show.
If you truly loved her, you should turn yourself in.
The Laundrie family attorney released a statement saying in part that Brian's parents don't know where he is, and the speculation by the public and some...
Well, Brian Laundrie's missing. We're wasting millions in that reserve. What? Like, I don't even understand. His dad joined them at the reserve too, just to laugh it up to
This
some of
unusual
them.
twist today in the search for Brian Laundrie. Today, see this video here? That is his father, Chris, in the passenger seat there, joining the search. He was seen going into the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park today, where authorities continue to look for his son. Let's go to Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon, who joins us again live from the park. Hi there, Kim. So why did he join the search today?
Hi, Mark. Well, we're told that he joined the search with investigators, trying to point them out to areas where Brian was known to frequent and where he was known to hang out within the reserve. This morning, just before 10 o'clock, Brian Laundrie's father, Chris, left his Northport home carrying a plastic bag, dressed in hiking shoes and hiking pants. Just a short drive away, he could be seen on a John Deere golf cart as a Northport police officer drove him into the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. They went over a bridge leading into the Carlton Reserve.
My thing is, do you really think he's out there after all this time?
Around the same time, Joe Gallagher was finishing his morning run on the Venice side of the Carlton Reserve as the search for Brian Laundrie continued.
Hopefully
I see someone said like a body was found, I think near where there were sightings for Brian, but I don't think those were actually confirmed. Brian Ensign always with the latest news. Into questions about Brian. If you can hear some. Okay, nothing there. I think WFLA actually said something on it, so oh, there he goes right there. Update, many of you wondered about this. Yeah, someone said the Blue Ridge, I saw that in the chat. A body was discovered along the Blue Ridge Parkway. The FBI said that it's not connected to Brian Laundrie at this time, so you could just assume that the body found there was just a body of another missing person, which is nice for that family and that they get closure, but it's not related to Brian Laundrie in any way, as of right now.
Can find something in there to, in the next week or so, but it's just strange.
Through text messages, Chris Laundrie's attorney, Stephen Bertolino, said Chris was asked to show law enforcement trails and places where his son was known to frequent. He said he and his wife had provided those details verbally, but it was thought on-site assistance may be better.
It's interesting. It's a little confusing. I mean,
so it took 3 weeks, and they were like, "Yeah, let's bring the dad in because maybe he might know better than dad." What?
No, said Chris was asked to show law enforcement trails and places where his son was known to frequent. He said he and his wife had provided those details verbally, but it was thought on-site assistance may be better.
It's interesting. It's a little confusing. I mean, always in a case like this, whether it's searching for a missing person or a suspect, initially, you want to get the family involved.
Ed Hartnett is the founder of Edmund Hartnett Risk Management. He's a retired NYPD deputy chief with 32 years of...
I love how they're both in their cars. Like, what? What is going on?
Law enforcement experience. He says law enforcement would welcome the help, but would remember the Laundries did not help with Gabby Petito's search.
Can't rule out the possibility that there may be legal proceedings against them down the road. If it can be proven later on that they aided and abetted their son in eluding the police in any way.
While Laundrie's attorney says Chris's involvement didn't uncover anything new, the family is grateful for the chance to help.
Not just they want to chat with him and talk to him about the case. He's a wanted suspect right now.
Yeah, he's wanted for that debit card fraud. That's where the warrant is out for his arrest. But through their family attorney, Chris Laundrie, and the family attorney said that they are thankful for law enforcement's dedication and efforts to find Brian Laundrie. When asked if anything was found out here today, they said nothing was found. They said that they do hope that Brian is located soon, and we did learn that Chris Laundrie will not be back out here tomorrow. Mark, back to you.
All right, I know.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub on the page. Let's see this Fox video on what happens if Dog the Bounty Hunter finds Brian. I'm not paying
The
taxes.
manhunt for Brian Laundrie nearing...
You'll see me in court next year. Alex Joseph versus the IRS.
Its fourth week, and now police in Northport, Florida say that they had Laundrie under surveillance, quote, as best as they legally could, end quote, before he vanished. They say they never spoke with him, but had eyes on him. In the meantime, famed bounty hunter Dog is continuing with his own search. However, the Daily Mail, they did some digging on Dog and what could happen if he actually does find Laundrie. For more on that, we want to get right over to Marina Morocco. I mean, that's something I guess we never really thought about. I mean, can he arrest him right away? What's the deal?
Yeah, Angie. Well, Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, joined the search for Brian Laundrie last month, focusing on a Florida campsite. However, If he were to find Brian Laundrie, he would not be able to arrest him or even detain him without running the risk of being charged with kidnapping. Bounty hunters in Florida, they are required to be licensed as bail agents. And according to the Daily Mail, Doug is not, nor is he licensed as a private investigator, meaning that there is no legal difference between Doug and any other citizen who decides to join the search. Also, Doug is a convicted felon, which means he cannot own a gun. He was arrested back in 1976 for his participation in a drug deal gone bad and was convicted of first-degree murder. Doug says he is still trying to clear his name, and according to the Daily Mail, the only license that Doug currently possesses is a license to sell insurance in Hawaii. However, there is nothing illegal about Doug searching for Laundrie. The tip line that he has set up has reportedly received about 3,000 tips on Laundrie's whereabouts, and apparently Doug has been turning over things that he considers evidence back to the FBI, Angie.
Oh, wow.
Dang, Dog's a convicted felon turned bounty hunter. Interesting. Well, Brian Laundrie, let's see this.
The day after Brian Laundrie's father joined in the search for his son at a Florida nature reserve, the manhunt has now been redirected once again to the Appalachian Trail. In a new interview, Gabby's mother says that's where she thinks Brian may be.
The hunt for Brian Laundrie in a Florida swamp is coming up.
Hey guys, check out that poll. Let me know what you guys think. It's almost split now that I'm looking at it. Is Brian on the Appalachian Trail or not?
Empty again, even after his father joined the search.
Chris, any sign of your son? Any sign of Brian at the park?
The third week of fruitless effort is once again turning attention to the Appalachian Trail. Gabby Petito's mother tells Fox News that's where he might be.
I would think that he's in an area like the Appalachian Trail or a campground where he can live off the land.
Callahan Walsh, co-host of In Pursuit with his father John Walsh, agrees.
I think his family helped him get out of the state and drove him up to the Appalachian Trail. I think he's there now.
The Appalachian Trail runs 2,000 miles from Georgia to Maine. How could Brian be living on the trail and still stay out of sight? Stephen Fabian is there with survival expert Shane Hobel.
I'm just really curious about the food because, like, I'm a processed type of guy here, you know, like candy, M&Ms, chips. There's none of that out there.
So we're on the Appalachian Trail right now, and of course you'd notice any hikers traveling in either direction. But here's the thing, you're still in the woods, and there are all sorts of places you can hide. For example, our survival guide, Shane, he's just over there behind that rock. Wave to us, Shane, so you can see him now. But that gives you an idea of how you can remain out of sight while still being right next to the trail.
You can walk 100 yards off trail and just still move in the same direction but stay parallel with it. And that also means that you're near resources. The Appalachian Trail, in their rest points and their stop points where you can receive packages.
There are all sorts of shelters on the Appalachian Trail where you can hunker down for the night, like this cabin.
What? Is this free of charge? I'm so...
If you follow me inside, you can see there are some foam mattresses here where you can get a good night's sleep. We've actually got a hiker here moving along the trail. There's actually...
Yo! What? That's wild to me, I'm not gonna lie.
Total water down here that hikers can take advantage of. And of course, a notebook here where people traveling along the trail can leave messages to other hikers.
It's like free living out there in the Appalachian Trails.
This interactive map shows the locations of 250 shelters, many of which are vacant right now because of the pandemic. Gabby and Brian spent time on the trail together, and he's said to be very knowledgeable about survival skills. Could he be hiding in a shelter just like this?
What do you guys think? Is he hiding in the shelter just like that? Let me know in the chat and on the poll, guys. Leave a like on the video. Please sub to my page for more content. That is wild. It's one thing to live like from scratch, but he's already got like a water and snacks head start and what's it called, bed and room.
Brian Laundrie
Laundrie taking on new urgency with his father joining search crews for the first time at that nature reserve in Florida. It comes as Gabby Petito's mother pleads with Laundrie to turn himself in, saying she's growing more frustrated as the days go on. Leila Santiago is out front.
Today, Brian Laundrie's father, Chris Laundrie, assisting authorities in the search for his son. After leaving his house alone this morning, Chris is seen entering the Carlton Reserve along with the police. The attorney for the family telling CNN Brian's father spent more than 3 hours at the 25,000-acre reserve assisting authorities in the search. Chris was asked to point out any favorite trails or spots that Brian may have used in the preserve. Although Chris and Roberta Laundrie provided this information verbally 3 weeks ago, it is now thought that on-site assistance may be better. Brian reportedly told his parents he was headed to the reserve when they last saw him on September 13th, more than 3 weeks later, and still no sign of Gabby Petito's fiancé. The attorney for Laundrie's parents telling CNN Brian's parents believe he is still there, adding the parents see no reason to make a public call for Brian to surrender to authorities because he says, quote, in short, the parents believe Brian was and still is in the preserve, so there was no reason to issue a plea on media that he, Brian, does not have access to. Police
Yeah, I guess no cell phone connection out there.
are now denying that a recent campsite was found at the Carlton Reserve after a source close to the family reported one Wednesday, holding off Chris Laundrie from the search for a day while police investigated. Northport police telling CNN, quote, is it possible that they thought there might be a campsite out there or something they may have seen from the air, but when they got on the ground, that's not what it turned out to be? Sure, I think that's a possibility. But he also says, quote, bottom line is that investigators are telling me that no campsite was found out there. Meanwhile, Gabby Petito's parents and step-parents grieving her loss and telling Fox News they hope Brian Laundrie is found alive.
He's a missing piece of the puzzle to find out what
I
happened.
always say he's the key. He's the key to the puzzle.
Yeah, what happened out there? You know?
Yeah, let me see this one. Fox News. Oh. Her dad's superimposed in every document.
So
like
you
every
just saw
interview.
the latest of the family speaking out again. They have been very vocal during.
Planning a.
Let's go out to that story where Fox's Laura Engel sat down with the Petito Schmidt family.
They were planning a wedding, small, on the beach in Florida, and COVID happened.
Right.
So they kind of put it on hold and said that they were going to just kind of live life. And
Yeah, it wasn't their main focus at the time. The main focus was planning this trip.
Wasn't she like 22?
Gabby never came back. Only Brian returned home.
The night I knew the van was in Florida, I instinctively knew that my daughter was not here anymore.
Gabby Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, sharing the moment police told her they located her daughter's van.
I screamed. I didn't mean to scream at the detective. I said, where's my daughter? Where is she?
What did they say?
She just said, I wish I knew the answer to that.
8 days later, Gabby's body was found in Wyoming. Her stepfather, Jim Schmidt.
it was the hardest phone call that I've ever made in my life. I knew what to expect when we went out there and what the strong possibility was. Still, nothing could really prepare you for that moment.
Never.
As the manhunt for Brian Laundrie continues, I asked them if they had any ideas where he could be.
I'm not certain, but I would think that he's in an area like the Appalachian Trail or a campground where he can live off the land because he had those skills.
Do you think he's alive? Do you think he's in the country?
I do believe he's alive. You know, country, I have no idea. I don't know.
Gabby's mother tweeting, Mama Bear is getting angry. Turn yourself in.
People want to know how I'm feeling, and I'm upset. You know, I want to just turn yourself in. That's all I wanted. But it's just getting more and more frustrating as days go on. I don't know what's taking so long.
Gabby's family wants him found alive.
He's a missing piece of the puzzle to find out what
I always
happened.
say he's the key. He's the key to the puzzle.
What happened out there? You know, until they find him, we won't know.
We believe he knows everything.
And if they had one thing to say to Brian,
Just turn yourself in. Just go to the local police department or wherever you are. Whatever the circumstances are, whatever happened, just go there, do the right thing for yourself, the right thing for Gabby, for our family, and for your own family.
Yeah, we deserve the truth.
While they wait for the answers they need, they are turning their grief into good, establishing the Gabby Petito Foundation, which they hope will help other families of missing children get financial resources and the public attention they have received in their case.
We're trying to make a difference and trying to make sense of it because there's a lot of people that do need help, so we're trying to focus on that, to make sure there's some good that comes from this.
I think it starts locally and then it trickles up from there. Social media is huge, and people just need to put the awareness out there. And
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub. Help me grow my page.
there's a lot of help out there now that we'd like to work with a lot of people, like the Aware Foundation, and We Help the Missing is another one.
I think this is the Instagrammer that saw them in the restaurant. Oh no.
It was our first full day of vacation in Jackson Hole. We were at Mary Piglet's, which is a Mexican restaurant in Jackson Hole, and it was Friday, August 27th. We got to the restaurant around 1 o'clock, and it was the altercation took place within the first hour of us being there, so it had to have been before 2 o'clock.
And in as much detail as you feel comfortable sharing, what did you notice about their interaction with each other?
It wasn't so much their interaction with each other. I didn't really take notice to them at all until they got up from their table, and they were, like I mentioned in my video, abruptly leaving the restaurant. It looked as though they were like almost getting kicked out, and it was never so much, it wasn't necessarily between them. It was more so Gabby abruptly leaving the restaurant crying, and Brian was just evidently really upset, pissed off. I would say Gabby was upset. He was angry, and he was just being very temperamental towards the restaurant staff.
And it's fine if you aren't sure. Do you know what the source of his anger was, or why she was upset?
No, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to fabricate anything. I've mentioned that it just, I mean, in the moment, when it was happening, we didn't know who these people were, and we didn't know what was going to happen. But in that moment, I was thinking to myself, it seemed as though, I don't know, you think worst case scenario, like, what, was something wrong with their food? Were they displeased with the service? It still doesn't, that still doesn't seem like that much anger is worth something like that. So it made me think that it seemed as if he was embarrassed, and he was angry about being embarrassed. I got the feeling that they were asked to leave, or that they were being kicked out the restaurant, because it was, like I said, very abrupt. They got up very abruptly and just walked out the restaurant, and she was really upset. She was crying, and he immediately went to the hostess stand and was just he was just going in on the hostess and the waitress, and then eventually the manager. He exited and entered the restaurant on 4 different occasions within 5.
That's like pettiness right there. To have what? So it's like me going out of a store and coming back in to yell at the clerk or cashier 4 or 5 times, bro. I'm not saying I can understand 1 or 2, but I've seen 1 or 2, 4 or 5 is a lot, bro. That's not just normal. That's not normal for just normally being mad. That's beyond normal.
5 minutes. He would walk out, walk back in, walk out, walk back in. At one moment, we thought they had walked out for good, or he had walked out for good, and
My boy said, "Psych."
He actually left for 10 minutes and then came back just to start the fight all over.
What? That's real petty right there, y'all.
It's really interesting. And this is just a confirmation question. You said that you and I'm not sure your partner were sitting next to them.
Yeah, we were sitting directly next to them. There's 2 tables right by the front door, which is also the exit and also where the hostess stand is. And yeah, we were within not even a foot of each other.
Wow. And
dang.
You kind of said in detail how he was acting toward the staff. Is there anything that you specifically overheard him say?
No, he was just being really aggressive. I couldn't hear any verbiage or actual words, but it just his body language, and you could obviously I could hear him, but I couldn't make out his words. He was, I would say, it was almost like he was screaming. He was really angry.
Did her
That's the
phone
best I
go
can
off?
describe it. He was just very visibly angry. It was like a dog with a bone. He wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he was pissed off and he would not let it go.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub. Thanks for going down the rabbit hole with me.
So much so that he would be asked to leave. I guess the restaurant staff was kind of not telling him what he wanted to hear, or maybe they were asking him to continuously leave, and he would leave and he would just re-enter within like a minute, and he just kept coming back and he wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he was just getting angrier.
Got it. And these might be, granular details, but if you remember at all, how did the two of them look? Did they look normal for all intents and purposes, or was anything off?
Like I said, I didn't really take notice to them, in the midst of them eating, or I just took notice of them when they were leaving. And in that moment, Gabby reminded me a lot of how she seemed in that body cam video of the cop. She just seemed distraught. She seemed really upset. She was emotional. She was crying. She seemed kind of embarrassed. At one point, she walked back into the restaurant on one of his attempts to walk back in. I think she followed him and was trying to, get him to leave and like drop the situation. I think she was being like apologetic towards the restaurant staff for his behavior. Like she just kind of wanted to diffuse the situation. She was like, "I'm sorry, come on, let's just go." But she was visibly upset. She was crying, and that was really it. And he was just, you could feel his temper. He was angry. He was pissed off.
And in the midst of everything you're describing, at any point did they stay and have a meal? Did you see that they ate, or you didn't know?
I'm not positive. All I remember is that they were sitting at the table directly next to us. We were eating. We were in the middle of our meal. We weren't paying attention to anybody else around us. We only took notice of them when they got up and were leaving. I'm almost positive that they were eating, because I remember questioning, did they even pay? Did they even get the bill? Did they, it was so fast. They just, our waitress was also their waitress. We shared a waitress, and she was
That's crazy.
visibly upset. So I know that she was a part of it.
Yeah, like where's this waitress that supposedly had this whole incident with them? Like, I'd love to know what Brian was like right before, and like that's the last day Gabby's seen alive. So, what happened in that argument?
she has to have more information than I do. You know what I mean?
That's a great comment right here. All sightings of the two were about Gabby crying and him being angry. Moab incident, this incident.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry if any of these questions are redundant. I just want to make sure I cover all my bases here. At no point did you speak directly to them?
No.
And you're saying that it seemed that they were kicked out of the restaurant. When they finally left, did you see how they left?
No. I just saw them walk out the front door.
Gotcha. Are there any parts to this that, I haven't asked you, anything that you remember that came to you? I know you said that your partner kind of, woke you up and was like, I remember like why Brian's face is so familiar. Are there any other small details that maybe, have come to you over the past couple of days?
No. It just happened so fast. It was like in the span of like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's something you definitely don't see every day. It just was kind of startling. I remember feeling.
Hey guys, check out the poll in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your opinions. All right. And leave a like on the video and sub to my page for more content. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching.
Bad for her. And I remember looking across the table at Matt, getting his attention to kind of, tell him what was going on. And I just remember telling Matt, like vividly, I remember telling him, this guy is freaking me out. His demeanor the way he was acting, how persistent he was, he freaked me out.
And this is my last question. What made you post the story once you guys put the pieces together on the fact that you had seen the two of them?
Just I was kind of like, and that was very in the heat of the moment when I posted that Instagram story. It was within like seconds that we pieced it together. So I didn't really think about it before I posted it. It was mainly just for my friends. I just kind of, thought it was just a crazy story. And I did have hopes that maybe it would get out there and it could help, people piece together the story. I certainly wasn't expecting it to blow up to the degree that it did. But yeah, there really wasn't much thought before posting it. It was just like, oh my God, this happened. We were there. We saw this. We witnessed this. Like, I have to get the word out there. And that's kind of how it happened.
Well, that's the last person really to see Gabby Petito alive. Maybe seen this.
Tonight,
Go
the
back and check
exhausting
on there. We definitely did. Guy lives outside the Laundrie home. But yeah, he's going live tonight at 9, 4 hours. This is the Gabby Petito Foundation. They're hosting an event Sunday, October 17th from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. all the way in Patchogue, New York. Admission is $20. I believe all the money goes towards whatever the foundation's trying to support. Okay, more. According to the New York Post, an ex-FBI official believes he's probably somewhere being taken care of, which makes the most sense. Like, how does someone go 3 weeks on their own? That's pretty intense, especially with like no support, no housing. Like, he's missing some of like the necessities he would need to just survive. I mean, it would make sense. Oh, this is an in-person interview with him.
On Friday, I really believe make sure that there's
let's go to the start.
details and everything.
Okay, so yeah, is there anything I should ask you that we didn't talk about?
Well, yeah, there's probably people that are out there that are doubting what I'm saying. I know there were people out there on social media that were being a little mean to my wife and on Dog.
I'll be right back, guys. Gotta use the bathroom.
And I just want to kind of tell people that I didn't ask for this. I had this was my 4th AT trip of the year, and it's something that I love doing, coming out here and getting away in nature. I hate having my phone with me. I take a few pictures and do a couple of videos for my family. But I ran into him and to Brian, and I really believed that that was him. And I thought that it was my civic duty, to make the calls to the FBI and to 911, and to follow through with it to make sure that the Petito family, got the due justice that they deserve for their daughter. And so, I didn't want to have a million phone calls and text messages, during my trip. But, I thought it was the right thing to do. So those people that doubt me, it's fine. They can doubt me. But I really believe what I saw. I'm not doing this for publicity or anything else. I really believe that it was him that I saw.
So you're saying you weren't asking for this. You were just on a hike with your friend. Tell me a little bit more about that, like what your plans were and if it was annoying getting all the texts and calls.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, our plans were to come up here. I was driving up on Friday after work, and we were going to meet actually on Saturday morning. And so I got up to the Tennessee-North Carolina state line at around 12:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. And I had never been to the area, and I was actually going to park my car at Davenport Gap, the parking lot there. And when I pulled down there, I passed the parking lot, and so I had to do a 3-point turn to turn around. Dark, secluded country road. The Pigeon River is on one side, and there's a mountain going up on the other. So had to be real careful doing the turn. And as I was doing the turn, a car approached from behind me, and they kind of flashed their lights on and off. I took it as they were kind of saying, "Go ahead and make the turn. You know, I'm back here, but go ahead and make the turn." And
That was a close pull. It's literally 50% and 50% no, 49% yes. That's so just probably like by 1 or 2 votes, you guys said that it wouldn't become a cold case.
I did that, and then as I was coming back past the car, the guy stopped and rolled down his window and kind of waved at me. And that's when I started talking to Brian Laundrie. And, we had a conversation, and then, I ended up leaving there. I was going to spend the night there, but he was just weird acting. And I didn't know it was him at the time. So ultimately, I met my friend the next day, and we started our hike. And yeah, it's been, kind of annoying getting all of the texts and all that. But as I said, it's kind of my civic duty. I thought, once I realized it was him, to follow through on that, not just to turn, an eye,
I like that though. The civic duty, like something his parents just don't understand.
blind eye to it and move on. But I really thought that, it was the right thing to do.
So when you realized it was Brian, how'd you feel? Were you worried? Were you scared because you said you were alone?
Yeah. Well, when I first talked to him, before I knew it was him, I realized there was something wrong with him. He was acting very weird. I originally thought that maybe he was on drugs. And so I was originally going to spend the night in the parking lot right there at Davenport Gap. But after just seeing him, I was like, there's no way I'm staying here. I mean, if this guy comes back, he might want to do something bad. And so I took off. I got back on I-40 and I was headed west, and it kind of hit me. What if that was Brian Laundrie? And so I got off the first exit that I came to, and I pulled down and opened up my phone and looked on the internet for pictures of him because I didn't know what he looked like. And the thing that stood out when I saw Brian...
He's like literally in every thumbnail of...
was he had this really dark beard and mustache. It was very thick but short. And when I got there and I was looking at the pictures, the first picture I saw of him, it was a portrait view of him, and he had that same beard and mustache, it was the same face. And I knew it was him. And I immediately started looking to see if I could find the number for the FBI. And so I was pretty sure right then and there. After I talked to the FBI, though, I got back on and I was looking at other pictures of him, and I saw a profile view of him. And of course, because when we were talking, our cars were parked side by side, and he kept on looking forward. He didn't look straight at me very much. And so I had that profile view of him. And when that profile view came up, my heart literally jumped. I was like, holy crap, there's no doubt in my mind that that was Brian. I even called the FBI back right then, and I was so, just hyped up, I guess, from looking a killer right in the eyes and then, realizing it was him that I had seen just 15 minutes ago. And I called the FBI again, and I told them, I said, that was really him. You guys have got to go, look. And, they took my information both times, but...
See what the survivalist has to say, because there's just no way he's still...
Honestly, if you're looking at both men, it's possible they're both in the same place. It's possible Brian Laundrie could have made his way westward towards Arizona, or plans to, because the winter is coming and he might not want to be in Florida. But if you're going to go for the long haul, you can't be novice.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, being a professional in what I do, teaching primitive wilderness survival, I would not want to be in a wilderness survival situation in Florida, and certainly not hiding in the swamps on the run in Florida, even in the most optimal conditions, such as like in wintertime would be the best. It's still not going to be pleasant by any means.
Can I ask you, there's a picture that Brian Laundrie, was posted on social media, and it really stood out to me when I thought about how he might be surviving out there throughout the nights, wherever he might be. And it has him in a hammock right next to a stream. I don't know if you can see a return video where you are, but that is quite a professional setup. It looks like the kind of cot that you can pack on your back pretty lightly and be nice and dry and up off the creepy crawlies on the ground and sleep anywhere without any kind of overhang. Is that the kind of thing he needs? Is that enough?
Absolutely not enough. What he needs is to not be in the swamps. So those little hammocks, they fold up, they're very compact, would easily fit into a backpack. But without mosquito netting and without a whole lot of some kind of bug spray, he's just not going to do well down there. His biggest adversary is the heat and the humidity. Your body just can't cool down in Florida, especially if you're on the move all day trying to avoid or hide from law enforcement and searchers. Your body's going to sweat, but that sweat never gets a chance to evaporate. So your body does two things. Number one, it can't cool down. And number two, it starts to dehydrate yourself. And a fun fact for you, when your body is 1 quart low on water, your brain functions about 50% of its normal capacity. And that's where
That's like a big question too. Like, yeah, Florida's hot as it's just hot. I don't understand how you could be moving, like legit trailing in this Carlton reserves or just wandering through without a consistent supply of water and a fan.
bad choices are going to come into play.
Wow. Well, that, I think, for those who are, cheering for the police to catch this man, they're happy to hear that he may be losing his faculties, Everest style. I backpacked around the world for a year, and I had treatment for water so that whenever water got low, I knew I could always drink anything, even if it was disgusting. I would imagine that this avid outdoorsman, Brian Laundrie, has something that is similar, but I also know you can't do it for very long because it is very, very bad for you.
So you can use filtered water for an indefinite amount of time. Most filters are very small, and you can hook them to a soda bottle or a hydration bladder, or just drink through a straw. And there's several brands out there. This little one that I just showed you, you can pick up at your local big box stores, about $20, and it does 100,000 gallons of water, and that's a lot of water. Another thing he could use is some kind of liquid chemical, like tincture of iodine 2%. This holds about 600 drops, and it takes 6 to 12 drops to purify a whole quart of water. So you can go quite a long time by purifying and disinfecting your own water. But if he's not getting that water into his body fast enough, then he's not going to do very well. Now, boiling's the
Not only just water, like you need solid food too. It's been a few weeks.
best way, but it's in his best interest to have a fire while searchers are looking for him, if indeed that's where he's at.
Yeah, so if he's trapping squirrels, he's going to be eating them raw because you can't cook them if you can't make a fire. And a fire sure is a dead giveaway. You're darn right about that, Steve. Real quickly, it's one thing to, find your campsite and secret yourself away. It's another thing day after day after day to avoid people, hikers, campers, and strollers, and eventually these guys get caught. The law of average, we tried to find all the different men that have run from the crime that they committed, and we couldn't find a lot that made it. Eric Rudolph, 5 years, but he's the exception to the rule. They usually get caught, don't they?
They do. I can say generally in anything in life, if you do something wrong, you're probably going to get caught eventually. And being on the run, and if he's out there in those swamps, they'll find him eventually, or they'll recover his remains, one or the other. I hope they find him so the family can have justice. But being an avid outdoorsman and the fact that he's experienced, I have my doubts that that's where he's at to begin with. It's a huge, very unfriendly place to be this time of year. And with winter coming, it won't be as bad. But if they there's a chance that they can find him before then, and that's it.
I got 10 seconds left, but I don't think he's in the swamp. But if he's elsewhere, he's got a lot of similar problems too, doesn't he?
He does. There'll always be those mitigating circumstances. You never know what nature will throw at you.
Steve Clater, I'd love for you to come back as we continue, the coverage of this, because we think we're, getting tips all the time that take us to different locales. And I think you're the guy that probably knows best what those locales will offer in hostility. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
I'm about to ask you guys this question. Think you could survive? Oh, it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Yeah. Eric Rudolph. But this guy survived 5 years. 5 years. Oh, he's an Olympic Park bomber. Let's see something short here.
At 6, he was the center of the country's most expensive manhunts. 25 years ago, Eric Rudolph detonated a bomb full of nails at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta.
Oh.
And that was just the beginning of a series of bombings, and the investigation ultimately led back here to North Carolina. Rudolph was eventually caught in Murphy, North Carolina, where he admitted to bombing the Olympics, killing one, and then going on to bomb a gay nightclub and an abortion clinic in Atlanta. He'd eventually bombed a Birmingham, Alabama abortion clinic in 1998. That blast killed a police officer. Witnesses spotted Rudolph
Just bombing everywhere. God.
there, and he took off for home, right into the mountains of western North Carolina. That manhunt lasted 5 years in the mountains surrounding the town of Murphy. Fox 46 investigator Jody Barr is in Murphy tonight, where he breaks down the search efforts of 200 federal agents that were so close to catching Rudolph that he could kill them.
Eric Rudolph was at times only yards away from this building while federal agents were inside planning his capture. Rudolph later wrote that he saw himself as a soldier in God's army fighting against the abortion industry, against what he called the homosexual agenda and the government he says he saw condoning it. Eric Rudolph wanted to send a message. Radicalized by his religious ideology, Rudolph appointed himself as the man who'd fight the federal government in the war to end abortion. Rudolph's pipe bomb at the 1996
It's crazy that
Olympics,
he would just go kill more people in hopes that they would just stop abortion.
was meant to end the games. The bombing caused a one-day pause, but even as federal
And a bombing of all things.
investigators worked the investigation, the games continued. The 4 other bombs were also designed to convince the government to see things Rudolph's way. Rudolph never killed a federal agent during his bombing spree, but he got the chance during his 5-year run as a fugitive in the North Carolina mountains.
It's an artist rendition of him, and here's the old map of Murphy and Andrews, North Carolina that we use.
Charlotte FBI Special Agent in Charge Chris Swecker led the Bureau's fugitive task force in the hunt for Rudolph. Swecker didn't know it at the time, but Rudolph had a plan to kill him and his agents. Rudolph took aim at the FBI's Murphy, North Carolina headquarters. He planted a bomb outside the door, and with a remote controller, Rudolph waited and watched from this ridge across the highway. He'd stalked the building for months, long enough that Rudolph wrote he'd unknowingly come to humanize Todd Letcher, one of the FBI agents who worked out of the building each day. In November 2000, Rudolph hit a 40-pound bomb in these bushes outside the door, then
A 40-pound bomb.
sat on the ridge waiting to detonate it. Agent Letcher showed up the next morning and walked right past the bomb. But Rudolph, the nation's most wanted serial bomber, could not go through with it. He watches as the agent walks up to the door, and his fingers is about an inch over the detonator, but he decides not to detonate it. Rudolph was very close, if that story is true, to potentially taking the life of an FBI agent. Do y'all have any reason to believe that his story of that night planting that bomb is not true?
I think the story is probably true, because we found the IEDs later up in the general area where he said he watched the command post. He described Todd Letcher to the T. Certain characteristics, physical characteristics, were accurate. And from his vantage point, he would have been able to look down on what was then the headquarters of the task force. I think that's one of the most dramatic things that have come.
That's wild.
Out of his story since he was arrested.
Rudolph's bombings left permanent scars, with the death of Alice Hawthorne in Atlanta and police officer Sandy Sanderson in Birmingham, and the nail impressions from the Centennial Park pipe bombs still there today. But Rudolph lost the war he waged.
What do you think is Eric Rudolph's legacy?
The legacy, of course, is one of destruction. I hate to say it because he's a former client of mine. Unfortunately for him, it was not effective in terms of the goals that he had in mind, because everything is happening exactly the opposite of what he hoped would happen.
He didn't change a thing.
No, except that his actions destroyed a lot of lives, including his.
Eric Rudolph killed 2 and injured more than 100 others before he went on the run here in North Carolina. Coming up at 10, we'll show you how Eric Rudolph outran 200 federal agents, but he could not outsmart the rookie cop who took him down. From Murphy, North Carolina, Jody Barr, Fox 46 Investigates.
And Jody has also put together one of the most in-depth on.
I'm sorry you guys asking about this video. The parents removing the laundry baskets and the sign. Here, play it for you guys. Check out that poll, and don't forget to leave a like and sub on the page. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching.
Do you guys feel guilty about Gabby?
Let me do it.
Is there a reason the FBI thinks you're not telling the truth? Do you know where Brian's passport is? Do you have anything to say about Gabby? A lot of the neighbors think you guys know more than you're saying. They're dropped off the sign. They want you to know that they're concerned that you guys know more than you're saying. Do you guys feel guilty about Gabby?
I want to see all the protesters outside this one. It's been quite the ruckus here. What is this?
NBC2 is tracking breaking developments in the search for 22-year-old Gabrielle Petito. Family attorneys have confirmed the final text sent from Gabby's phone. Thanks for counting on NBC2. I'm Peter Bush. Tonight, people in the community are showing their frustration with Gabby's fiance.
That's wild.
Brian Laundrie
Let's see if I can make it better. Nope, guys, that's all they
still
have.
refuses to speak with investigators. His lawyer just released another statement in response to the double homicide investigation in Moab, Utah. Tonight, police are looking into any connection between the cases. Brian, here's the statement from the attorney. Brian is still keeping quiet. His lawyer said law enforcement has to follow all leads they get, and whether these cases deserve to be linked will be determined. NBC2's Megan Myers has been on top of this case all week for you. Megan, how is Gabby's family reacting to the new developments today?
Gabby Petito's father was filled with emotion today as he begged Brian Laundrie to come forward with answers yet again. And he's not the only one demanding answers.
If it was my daughter that was missing, I can't think of anybody that would stop me from going in that house, grabbing that kid, and finding out information.
Jason Sternquist and his family got out Sharpies and poster boards. They began writing and pleading for Laundrie to speak up.
Can you imagine just your daughter's dating some guy, they go on a road trip, and then that's it?
Sternquist says he's trying to help, not only because he lives near Laundrie,
First thing you think of is, oh my God, it's my backyard.
but because he has 3 daughters of his own.
Bring
Dang.
peace to this woman's family.
Although the couple's social media made it look like things were fine and dandy, body camera footage from Utah police shows them responding after the couple got into a fight on their cross-country trip.
You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away. Just because she wanted I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute.
showing that sometimes.
Wild. Really
But
wild.
tonight, a crowd assembled just outside of the Laundrie home pushing for answers. Our Rob Manch was there.
Listen to what they had to say.
Where is Gabby? Where is Gabby?
I'm pretty sure this is the processor that eventually goes on to Cassie Laundrie's house and questions her, and we get the video there.
Now, a lot of these protesters don't even know the Laundrie or Petito families. We spoke with people.
We think you're guilty, so prove your innocence. Speak up.
People who actually traveled to be here tonight to put pressure on the Laundrie family to speak out. That's how big this.
Bro, look at how many cars are just lined up to take their turn in front of the Laundrie house.
Story is getting. People all over the country are anxious to learn any details they can about Petito's whereabouts, and it looked like that's what police were doing too. We watched as they entered the house with what looked like evidence bags and even searched a car in the driveway. Police tweeted they were talking with Laundrie's parents, but not Laundrie himself. Meanwhile, outside, I spoke with Aaliyah Brown, who traveled 2 hours just to be here because she feels like she has a connection with Petito.
I related to Gabby in a way because this is my fiance and he's 23 and I'm 21, and we just moved all the way out here from Massachusetts together, and he's the only person I have out here, and I can relate to the way that she trusted him and how he betrayed her and how he's still betraying her by not speaking up on it. If it was either.
That was a lot of information to put out there, but also I hope she watches her back.
Son's missing, I would certainly hope that people as a community come out, even if they don't know either of them.
Rob Manch, Fox 4.
Anton is joining us. He's been following this story, has been our boots on the ground for sure, and he's live with the very latest. Brian, has there been any advances in the search for Brian Laundrie? It seems kind of noisy where you are too. What's going on?
Yeah, it is noisy, Adrian. First of all, no signs of Brian Laundrie, but let me show you. We're right outside the house, and this is what happens bright and early out here. You have people who come out with megaphones. They get on the megaphones, they point them at the Laundrie house, and they shout at the parents that they want justice for Gabby, and they want the parents to start cooperating with the FBI and law enforcement. They'll do this every single hour this morning. Meanwhile, the search, about 5 to 10 minutes from here at the Carlton Reserve, that is a 24,000-acre wildlife reserve where they...
Yeah, that's a lot of protesters. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub on the video. Sub to my page to help me grow my content.
What's going on? Why won't he come out of the house? What really happened? How did this thing all go down?
Right now, we are waiting on a news conference from Wyoming on the disappearance of 22-year-old Gabby Petito. Back in Florida, Northport police say they have still not been able to interview her fiance, Brian Laundrie.
Today, they said they did speak to Brian Laundrie's sister, but she gave no useful information about the investigation. WPTV News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts is live now outside Laundrie's house in Northport, where people are gathering to protest. Megan?
Absolutely. And right now, there's really not even any certainty as to whether or not Brian Laundrie or his parents are inside their Northport home here behind me. But you see there are about a dozen or so protesters here who are standing out front, yelling with a megaphone. They're holding signs. They say they feel like this is their best way of at least trying to help find Gabby along the street. More people are starting to show up.
I mean, their own neighbors. Literally just... What's it called? I don't know. Memorial Laundrie house. They literally like stuck a stake in there in front of the house. Just one of them, the flowers.
They are scaling back their efforts, shifting their focus to targeted areas. But
We're demanding answers. We're seeking justice for Gabby and the Petito family.
Some shouting their messages outside of Brian Laundrie's house.
You need to cooperate with the authorities and tell them what you know.
Others caught in the middle, delivering flowers.
I'm an Instacart. I'm delivering for Gabby.
At least 5 flower orders delivered to the Laundrie's home.
And who was the customer?
They're straight up using Instacart to just... Oh my god.
I don't know.
Tonight, I tracked down
Imagine being the driver or worker that does that, getting to the address and being like, oh damn, it's this case.
One of those customers.
I got a confirmation by email from the florist they were delivered.
That's Stephanie Harris. We're talking on the phone because she lives all the way in Chicago. Like many, she's been following Gabby's case.
There is something about her spirit that really shines through.
Harris says she sent sunflowers to Brian's house, not to shame the Laundrie family.
I don't have any ill will towards, I don't wish them any harm. I have taken note, like everyone else, of the fact that they have essentially given Gabby and her existence the silent treatment.
Sitting in the Laundrie's front lawn, she hopes the family sees her message.
I think that the effort to send flowers, it's not an attempt to troll the Laundries or be cruel. What it is an attempt to say, you cannot silence victims like Gabby.
Speaking of messages, after protesters and flowers, I got this text message from Stephen Bertolino, who is the lawyer for Brian and the Laundrie family. Bertolino types, the family doesn't know where Brian is, and they hope the FBI is able to find him.
Guys, Fox Business calling them horrible people. John Landry, or John Walsh actually, my fault, calling them dirty laundries. There's a lot going on tonight, guys. What's he go live for 31 minutes about?
On things. You saw the same thing I noticed in the FBI statement, which I tweeted. They referred to Brian Laundrie as a fugitive, which I think is the first time I've seen the FBI actually do that, like actually refer to him as a fugitive. So that was kind of interesting.
I think he's live with like viewers probably.
Okay, I'm reading more.
Is this Gabby Petito's? Oh snap. Oh snap. I never knew she had a Twitter. Always traveling somewhere in a van. Wow. And check out our Instagram page too. Actually seemed pretty cool. I saw a video of them doing it. Definitely can't drown in the sand. Alright. Back to more news.
Wednesday marks 1 month since Brian Laundrie's.
Oh, I don't believe we saw this. Let's see what Bannon has to say about.
Never tell a lie. You probably heard that since birth, right? It's a golden rule. You are not supposed to break that rule. But when it comes to law enforcement, lying is actually a very effective tool. And you might not know it, but it is legal. Moral? I hear you. Okay. But legal, there's no question, there's no doubt about it. It's legal. And lying has helped catch some of the worst of the worst. Take, for example, Dalia DiPolito, a woman who hired a hitman to kill her husband. Police intervened before it.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like on the video and sub to the page for more content. Almost at 1,200 subs. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.
Happened, thank God. And then they went ahead and set up a sting to break the fake news to Dahlia of her husband's bloody death. And just watch her reaction, because honestly, folks, it is nothing short of Oscar-worthy.
Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed.
She set up the death. She set up the death.
I'm sorry.
Or the contract for murder.
Listen, try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you to the station. We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you stand, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find his killer.
I mean, that's amazing. It's just amazing. Even the shaking fingers, all of it, right? She knew she'd planned the whole thing, but he wasn't dead. And this moment has been playing over and over in my head. Why? Well, since Christopher Laundrie was invited to join the police in the search for his son. Okay, I'm going to make the connection here. Did any one of us ever really believe that Mr. Laundrie could be of use in the look-see, the search 3 weeks later? Come on, 3 weeks later, let me show you his trails that he liked.
Hey guys, check out the poll. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching.
Well, maybe he was useful. Maybe he was helpful. Maybe they just wanted to see Mr. Laundrie's reaction to something Mr. Laundrie wasn't expecting. I think it is a fair question, and my two guests know a thing or two about strategic crime fighting. Sheriff Mark Lamb from Pinal County, Arizona. He is the face of the American Sheriff Network. And also with us tonight, former NYPD Detective Dr. Alfred Titus. That's doctor, folks. He's a professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. To the both of you, welcome. Okay, Sheriff Lamb, am I crazy to assume that taking Mr. Laundrie to help search 3 weeks after the search had begun was actually an entirely different strategy? And that was to maybe put something unsettling in front of him and see what his reaction is, to see if he's really telling the truth about my son went hiking in the swamp.
Yeah, Ashley, thanks for having me on. You know, it's hard to say what their goal was there, but there's always different types of tactics that we'll employ. Spending time with somebody to see if they actually may have played a role in this was probably one of their goals, just to see if he might slip up along the way. When we interview people, we will consistently try to get their story out of them and see if that story changes along the way. That might have been one of the things they were looking at. And genuine.
Which the Laundrie story did change like multiple times.
Finally, maybe they thought, let's take a chance and see if he actually might lead us to somewhere or put us on Laundrie's path. But you know, there could be there could be various reasons of why they did this.
Yeah, Dr. Titus, so we sort of went through a whole lot of scenarios in my head, and I need you to get me off the ledge if I'm too far out there. But I wondered if they might even go so far as to take, you know, what look like human remains and happen upon them with Mr. Laundrie, because if Mr. Laundrie's telling the truth and his boy really did go out there hiking and they came upon human remains, well, that would be a very genuine, very hard to act moment. That would be the worst moment in a man's life. But if Mr. Laundrie saw human remains and he knew that his son was nowhere near that swamp, well, you'd have to act like Dahlia DiPolito to make it seem as though you're devastated. Am I crazy about that, Dr. Titus?
She did give like an Oscar-worthy performance, I'm not gonna lie.
Not at all, Ashley. First of all, thank you for having me tonight. But you are absolutely correct. The thing about investigations and the way investigators operate is they look.
Man went to Queens College, I could see.
Look for these key tells, which is what we call them tells. And that's eye movement, that's nervous behavior, perspiration. All of these little trigger things are things that allow us to know that there's something afoot. Either the person is feeling guilty or something is just wrong. So there are multiple tells that we look for. And that's what it sounds like law enforcement is trying to do here. They are almost at their wits' end, and they are just looking for some kind of answer, some kind of information that could direct them.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that they'd put real human remains out there. There's plenty of different kinds of props you can make it look like. Because when Dalia DiPolito's husband, was shown to her as being dead, they put makeup on them. They don't really kill them. Clearly you can fake something to look very real. So, okay, Sheriff Lamb, I want to be really clear that my staff and I talked out this whole scene a couple days ago, and we decided not to go to air with it because we didn't want that to be something that the Laundries might know prior to actually going out for that search, because the search was planned and it was called off and it was supposed to happen again. We wanted to make sure it happened, it was done, so that would not let the cat out of the bag. But I did want to ask you, Sheriff Lamb, the FBI took dozens of boxes out of that home, right? They walked out with all sorts of stuff, and Brian Laundrie's room is still in there. So I wondered if they might have taken an item of clothing without the Laundries knowing, because that could be one of the plants in the swamp, right? It's Brian's ball cap, it's Brian's favorite shirt, and then there's human remains, and total confusion. Do you see what I mean? Like, I could see that happening. Is that a strategy that they might employ?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a strategy. I mean, that's a tough strategy to try to show a father what might be the remains of their son. I don't know that a lot of law enforcement agencies would go that far. But if they suspected the father as being guilty of doing it, they might. This is what they did to that other gal who they talked her, they told her that her husband had been killed because they had solid evidence that she was trying to hire somebody to kill him. So that kind of went along that path. But this is a kind of a different situation. I'd be surprised if they would use that tactic. But I mean, who knows? They might.
Yeah, we don't know what they have, right, Mark? I mean, honestly, we don't know if there's surveillance, if there's something tapped that gave them some evidence and they just need that one extra little piece. And that one extra little piece is that dramatic reaction or that very faked reaction. I don't know.
Hey guys, I appreciate every single one of you watching. Please leave a like on my video and sub to my page to help me grow my content. I also heard about this. This is crazy. This is from like one of you guys sending me a link to this.
From the Illinois River after he'd been missing for almost a month, and it took weeks for authorities to confirm the body was his. A new report by the Chicago Sun-Times provides descriptions of the condition of the 25-year-old grad student's body. It comes from family members and their attorney, and we do want to warn you, these details are very disturbing. News Nation's Demetrius Saunders from our Peoria station WMBD has been following the story and has the new autopsy details.
Nicole, today, Carmen Bolden Day, Jelani's mother, clarifying some of what was revealed in that report by the Chicago Sun-Times. In the article, according to Day's family and their attorney, Hallie Besner, Day's body was found without eyeballs. The Sun-Times also states the family's private forensic pathologist could not find a brain or other organs, including Day's liver or spleen. Besner said the LaSalle County Coroner's Office pathology report explained that the organs were completely liquefied, this leading Besner to seek a scientific explanation as to why Day's body was severely decomposed. The report by the Chicago Sun-Times received lots of social media reaction, with many calling for justice and some questioning exactly what happened to Jelani. In response to those concerns, Day's mother said this in a statement, quote, "No organs were missing. I do not want to stray off from the facts. There were contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy compared to the second independent autopsy, but this is not a case of organ harvesting. However, my son did not put himself in a river. My son was murdered, and my goal and purpose are to find out what happened and hold those responsible accountable," end quote.
That's good. She not only said what she had to say about her son's death and murder, which she's now striving to do, but she also had to clarify any rumors or any lies out there about any potential lies about her son's organs being harvested or probably potentially like taken and sold off.
Now, I did try to contact the LaSalle County.
That is a weird situation, though. Oh wait, but he did have his organs. We really don't know the facts, actually.
Responsible, accountable.
Let me,
However, compared to the second independent autopsy with concerns, Day's mother said this in a statement, quote, "No organs were missing. I do not want to stray off from the facts. There were contradicting facts from the first preliminary autopsy compared to the second independent autopsy, but this is not a case of organ harvesting. However, my son did not put himself in a river. My son was murdered, and my goal and purpose are to find out what happened and hold those responsible accountable," end quote. Now, I did try to contact the LaSalle County Coroner's Office about the Sun-Times report and have not heard back. Bloomington police say the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office is continuing to lead the investigation into Jelani's death, which they say is ongoing. I also reached out to Jelani's mother for further comment and am waiting to hear back. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Demetrius.
It's wild. It's really wild out here. So, Josh Benson, PFLA guy. Also on the Gabby Petito case, I guess. News Nation now, so on it. Any new updates today besides?
Did you get hit in the face?
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually hit you.
Well, like he grabbed me like with his nail.
She says the body cam video from the Moab, Utah police encounter is hard to watch.
It was definitely painful to see everybody just be upset. It was pretty typical of them to argue and try and take space from each other, but people saying they saw public domestic violence, I've never seen anything like that from either of them.
Now she wonders if more could have been done.
I definitely feel like if they had all of the 911 calls from the multiple people they said, that I think that it would have gone a lot differently and we'd be in a different situation.
Cassie says she's as concerned as she is for her brother. She is mourning for Gabby and wants her family to know her heart is with them.
I've been cooperating so that everyone gets answers. They deserve answers.
Gabby's parents sending a message to Brian on the Dr. Phil show.
If you truly loved her, you should turn yourself in.
The Laundrie family attorney released a statement saying in part that Brian's parents don't know where he is, and the speculation by the public and some in the press.
Oh, hold on here. This is brand new news. Brian Laundrie's sister, family threatened, police record show. Okay. I mean,
so much anger directed at the parents of Brian Laundrie. We have seen protesters and police outside of their home, but tonight new records show the fury of this case extends 40 miles away to the home of Brian's sister. Fugitive Brian Laundrie is the sole person of interest in the disappearance of his now deceased fiancée, Gabby Petito. He's wanted for bank card fraud, while authorities have not released evidence linking Brian to Gabby's killing. As the manhunt continues, many are angry at Brian and his parents.
What you're doing to the Petito family is wrong.
The trouble stretches to the home of Brian's sister, Cassie Laundrie. Records obtained by 8 on Your Side show Manatee Sheriff's deputies have dropped by the home numerous times in a span of 2 weeks. The first call for help came 2 days after Brian was reported missing. According to the calls for service log, on September 19th, Cassie's husband James said he was getting, quote, messages from random people.
Wow. I'm sorry if you guys can't hear. The volume is maxed out as much as I can max it out at.
Threats about
Oh my god. So basically, the Cassie Laundrie's family, it seems like, are receiving messages from random people talking about killing their her family and the kids.
Killing his family and kidnapping his kids. Following the threats, deputies periodically checked in on the family. On October 1st, there was a call about suspicious circumstances. Officials investigating and dismissing a possible Brian Laundrie sighting. Then there's a disturbance from the protesters.
Police, we're not supposed to talk to anybody, and you're making my children cry.
Video shows a small group confronting Cassie and her husband. Former FBI agent Dr. Brianna Fox says each time there's a false sighting, a trespasser, or a threat, precious resources are pulled away from finding Brian and potentially solving this case.
Anytime that there's a death threat made against somebody, law enforcement takes it extremely seriously. It is illegal, it is irresponsible, it is extremely harmful, and on top of it, it's going to just make finding the person who's responsible for Gabby Petito's murder that much more difficult.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching right now. Please leave a like on the video and sub to help me grow my page. Almost at 1,200 subs because of you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Alright, let's see if there's any more breaking news. That one came out, I'm pretty sure it said 7 minutes ago. Right here. Probably not. Let's see Southwest cancel all their
Southwest Airlines
flights.
flights across the country were canceled and hundreds more delayed.
Those cancellations impacted hundreds of passengers at Tampa International. 8 on your sites, Jeff Patterson joins us live from TIA today.
Good evening, Stacey and Josh. Southwest Airlines is blaming the weather, but an industry expert tells me the weather isn't the only problem going on here. Also, I found out a group of passengers stranded here in Tampa may have a big impact tomorrow night in Raleigh.
All across the country, Southwest Airlines started canceling flights on Friday, stranding people like Carson Brooks in Tampa.
They just said the flights were canceled.
That could be a huge problem. You see, Brooks and his coworkers are the stagehands for Harry Styles, and right now, they should be setting up for his concert in Raleigh, North Carolina, tomorrow night.
We were supposed to be at work in Raleigh at 8 in the morning, and now we're stuck here.
Denise Curran has a much more personal problem.
I have a son who's very, very ill up in Raleigh, and we're all trying to get there. So my daughter's rebooked a flight on Delta for me for tomorrow.
Airline industry expert Henry Hartefelt tells me Southwest blamed the weather, but other airlines didn't have the same problem.
The problem is, the reality is, there were no bad weather problems and there were no ATC staffing problems. And the FAA even tweeted back at Southwest basically saying, nope, not our problem.
Hartevelt says some are saying the canceled flights are a work action as Southwest employees fight against a mandatory vaccine mandate.
Yeah, Southwest, that's messed up. If you're gonna, come on, if you're gonna cancel flights, at least be truthful as to why you're canceling the flights.
I was pretty surprised they were talking at all today. Brian's easy to talk to, though. Were you surprised, and what do you make of what he said?
Yes, I was surprised. The majority of my background with the FBI was with task forces and embedded in police departments. And when the FBI takes the lead in an investigation, it is very unusual for a local PD to give an interview regarding that investigation, especially when the FBI isn't even giving any information about that investigation.
Right. So what would be the motivation, you think, in them talking? They certainly have been under some criticism in their involvement up until now.
I think that is the reason why they have stepped forward. I think they have been under a lot of criticism for Brian Laundrie being lost, for getting out of their surveillance eye, if indeed he was under surveillance, and other facets of the investigation. And I think that they're trying to come forward and give some information regarding why those things happened.
Didn't really clear it up, though. I mean, when Brian asked him about how they were surveilling Brian Laundrie and how he was able to slip away, he said, we're working to figure that out.
Yes, my belief based again on my experience, is that sometimes the head of the agency, in this case, the chief, is briefed, but he's briefed by his under chief and then the person below that and the person below that. And sometimes the person that actually is on scene leading that surveillance group, leading the investigation, as the information goes up, it sometimes is not given out correctly.
Are there any consequences for local police coming out at this point and talking from the FBI? Will there be a conversation had later tonight? Hey, we didn't want you to do that.
There could be a conversation. I would not be surprised.
I want to talk about the Laundrie parents. They seem like the biggest thing that we can all collectively focus on right now because somebody knows something. And their recollection of certain events is really being called into question, some of the dates of when Brian may have went missing. If you're leading this investigation, how do you approach the parents? How are you handling the parents right now in questioning them?
Ooh, I just got news that there's going to be a press conference tomorrow. I think on the Gabby Petito autopsy. Yeah, you guys heard it here first. The Teton County coroner is holding a press conference tomorrow at 12:30 Mountain Time regarding the ruling on the autopsy of Gabby Petito. So probably, yeah, probably as it's, I don't know what Mountain Time is. She's probably going to give, or he will probably give details on the autopsy report, like how she died, because I'm pretty sure that's still not public knowledge yet. And just like the state, I guess, she was found in, what possibly happened, or insight to what potentially happened. So 12:30 Mountain Time tomorrow. I think that's like 1 o'clock here, whatever it is on the East Coast. I'll definitely tune in tomorrow, guys. I'll definitely update you guys about that.
And keeping them involved.
Well, the biggest problem is for law enforcement is that they have retained counsel. And whenever counsel is retained, you just cannot broach talking to them. It's illegal. It's does not fall within the FBI rules and regulations. And it, quite frankly, could seriously taint the investigation later. So they are not going to talk to the Laundrie family, but through going through their attorney. So that's the biggest obstacle. The biggest questions I would have concerns the whole situation with the details surrounding this disappearance. The 14th, of course, first reported. Then the 17th, I should say, reported that he left. Right. The 17th reported missing. But why, if your son was missing, left all of his items in his room, his credit cards, everything that could be traceable, especially knowing that Gabby, his fiance, who he purportedly loved, why in the world would they not be hugely concerned, even on the 15th when he didn't return? Then they go to the precise spot in this 24,000 acre reserve where the car is. And instead of calling police at that point, come get this vehicle.
It's like messed up. Why would you leave? Let's say he did drive there by himself to go hiking. Why would you come take the car back? What was he gonna do? And there's no service there. Like, that doesn't, come on, guys.
My son, we can't find him. Can you please see? That's where you would make the police report. Instead, they drive it back. And the confusion about the date, it's all very, very concerning.
It just doesn't add up, right? As we watch this day and day after unfold, how critical could Cassie?
Now, let me see Laundrie's lawyer make an update about these dates. Yeah, let's just hear all the statements he's had to say. This is what 3 weeks ago?
Tonight, a night of fast-changing development in the disappearance of Gabby Petito. A huge police search tonight, and then a stunning revelation. Gabby's fiance, the only person of interest, is missing too. Good evening, everyone. At 11 o'clock, I'm Bill Ritter.
And I'm Sade Better-NY. As Bill just said, the fiance of the missing Gabby Petito is now himself missing. His family now saying they haven't seen him since Tuesday.
Another new twist in this twisted case. The Laundrie family calling authorities to their home tonight, where the FBI was seen searching.
2 days after or 3 days after they haven't seen him. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching and also leaving a comment in the chat. Check out my latest poll and leave a like and sub. Help me grow my page. Almost at 1,200 because of you guys. I appreciate all you guys.
A car.
Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger has the latest in the case.
Where is Gabby? Where is Gabby?
As dusk fell on a nondescript home outside Fort Myers, Florida, a group of neighbors had gathered screaming for Brian Laundrie to tell police what he knows.
Are we gonna get justice for Gabby? Yeah!
But nearly a week into the search for Gabby Petito, cops were finally inside the home, speaking, they tweeted, with the Laundrie family at their request. But Brian wasn't there. His lawyer says he's now missing too. Be advised, he wrote to reporters, the whereabouts of Brian Laundrie are currently unknown. The FBI is currently at the Laundrie residence removing property to assist in locating Brian. As of now, he added, the FBI is looking for both Gabby and Brian.
Oh yeah, they didn't find the body at that time. I feel like at this point, the parents probably just knew what was going on and let him run and then help him cover, because it's the only thing that makes real sense.
Laundrie is the only publicly named person of interest in the disappearance of his fiancée Gabby, but the Long Island couple took a cross-country trip in their white van.
2 people went on a trip, 1 person returned, and that person that returned isn't providing us any information.
A couple.
Wait, hold on, Chief Todd Garrison? That's the guy that said we have eyes on him, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wow. See, YouTube already said it. YouTube's already on top of that. 3 years ago. This is him addressing the media. I think this might be it. This may... This one's shorter. Oh, this one's shorter.
Today we're here to...
We can't hear anything on here, guys. I'm sorry.
My name is Todd Garrison. I am the chief. The plan is to travel across the West Coast and visit state national parks in the western United States. They were traveling in Gabby's 2012 white Ford van and documented their journey on YouTube and social media. We have a picture of the white Ford van that they were traveling in. She maintained regular contact with her family members during her travels. However, that communication abruptly stopped around the end of August. Gabby is a vibrant 22-year-old with a love for life and adventure. She's a daughter, a sister, and a granddaughter. She was excited to share her cross-country trek with others on social media and with her family. Gabby's family and those in the community here and in New York who know and care for her are hoping for answers about her whereabouts. We have investigators working diligently around the clock, as well as with the FBI. The FBI is present here today to show their solidarity and commitment to this investigation, and we are grateful for all their resources. Due to the geographic scope of the investigation, it's important that we partner with our federal and local partners. At this time, I'm going to allow Joe, Gabby's dad, to come up and say a few words.
All right, what I need from everybody here is help, because the goal is still not met, and that goal is to bring Gabby home safe, all right? And I'm asking for help from everyone here. I'm asking for help everyone at home. I'm asking for help from the parents of Brian, and I'm asking for help of the family members and friends of the Laundrie family as well. You know, there is a tip line that you can call anonymously. Whatever you can do to make sure my daughter comes home, I'm asking for that help. There's nothing else that matters to me now. This girl right here, this is what matters. That is it. Anything else, it comes second to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Our focus is to finding Gabby, and we are pleading with people out there to give us information, point us in the direction that we need to be, and help us find Gabby. Gabby and her family deserve that. Right now, I'll go ahead and answer a few questions that I can. Go ahead.
Yesterday, you reached out on Twitter to Laundrie's attorney. Have you heard from him yet?
I have not.
Is there any criminality suspected in the case, or is this just a missing person?
Right now, we are investigating a missing person case.
So no criminality suspected?
None at this time. Right now, it's a missing person case.
Chief, how frustrating is it knowing that the family lives just a short...
It's weird that like reporters are asking you if there are any, like the obvious signs are there.
distance away from the police department here? I'm sure your officers have to drive by his house and to know that he hasn't given you any clues.
Well, we share the frustration with the world right now. So, you know, 2 people went on a trip, 1 person returned.
And we're no criminality suspected.
And that person that returned isn't providing us any information.
Still no criminality suspected. Just a missing person case.
Chief, can you bring Brian Laundrie in for hindering the investigation or for stealing Gabby's car?
Right now, no.
Have you guys learned anything from the van or from the phones at all?
Right now, we're still analyzing all that data, which takes time to forensically analyze all that.
So he could steal her car and drive around with it, and what? Even though she's missing, it's still not like suspicious. Like he couldn't have done anything in Colorado where they found the body, but that's what it took for them to be like, okay, Brian's probably a person of interest now. Like that's how it escalated. It wasn't like, oh, he's a suspect in something. In the homicide that the autopsy report proved, like 2 days later, he was just a person of interest, and then a fugitive or a suspect in bank fraud charges relating to her account after he already stole her car.
Is that offering any sort of insight into maybe what potentially happened? Are you using that as part of your investigation?
We look at everything that's coming in. As far as that having to do anything with the disappearance, we don't know. I mean, yes, they had a disturbance. Yes, it was captured on body camera, their interaction with law enforcement. But beyond that, you know, I don't know what it has to do with the disappearance.
Do you guys know when exactly Brian left and headed for Florida? We know he came here on the...
The fact that she's disappeared and her car is with him is just like, guys, wow, you still need more evidence?
First, but do you know when he left from...
It makes me wonder how much people can get away with.
There's any indication that Gabby was with him on that trek back?
Right now, we're analyzing that data.
Hey, Cynthia, I appreciate you. Thanks for the tip.
So we don't have that timeline narrowed down. There's a lot of information that we have to go through.
Do you know where Brian Laundrie is right now?
Yes.
Chief, has the family attorney said any...
And Steve, I agree with you. Lawyering up immediately, bro. But immediately is like very suspect. And still no... Come on.
The family attorney arranged to get us some property that we were looking for, and beyond that, no.
Nicole Schmidt said that she last spoke with her daughter on August 30th, or at least someone purporting to be her daughter. Has any forensics been done on her phone? Have the phone records been requested? Have they been provided?
Everything is being forensically analyzed right now, and it takes time.
Including Nicole's phone?
No, we don't have Nicole's phone.
And have you requested it?
Requested from who?
From her.
Oh, I'm sorry, from Nicole's phone. I'm sorry. I don't have the answer to that as far as that.
At this point in the investigation, is Wyoming still the last place that she was known to be?
Right now, it seems to be the area that we're looking at.
What would it take in your investigation to bring Brian in?
Right now, this is a missing person case, all right? And our focus is to find Gabby. My focus isn't to bring Brian in right now, it's to find Gabby.
See, there's a difference between him and that Polk County Sheriff Judge. And that's why I love Polk County Sheriff Judge. He has his head on straight. He said it as clearly and concisely. Like,
Gabby Petito, I'm not.
see if I can get it higher.
And get away. And he highlighted the domestic
News reports.
Of course, he was asked.
I'm not involved in that investigation. My team's not involved in that investigation. I could only speculate based upon news reports, and as you know, those are incomplete at best, and sometimes they can be fictionalized at worst. I can tell you that according to Florida law, when she was a victim of domestic violence originally, he would have been arrested. I can tell you at this sheriff's office, when he showed up with her car and she was no place to be found, we would never have let him out of our custody that day. Other than that, I'm not sure where their investigation is.
Interesting comments here from Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd.
We would have never let him out of custody. See, his approach is way different from this guy. It's just a missing person. He showed back up in her car without him?
Tito, I'm not involved in that investigation.
That seems like a crime, and I'm pretty sure the sheriff is even saying it.
Team's not involved in that investigation.
Oh no, it was definitely louder.
And get away. Interesting comments here.
That, I'm not sure where their investigation is.
I just want to hear him say
Office, when he showed up with her car and she was no place to be found, we would never have let him out of our custody. That her car and she was no place to be found, we would never have let him out of our custody that day.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not sure where their investigation.
See, it's like someone dropped the ball here.
Brian is exercising his constitutional rights, and I have to respect that.
I understand that, but he did steal a car here. He did take a whole car.
But as of right now, the focus is finding Gabby.
Well, she's been missing for 2 weeks and could possibly be in danger. Why does he get the privilege to tell you no, that he's not coming in to speak to you?
Because the Constitution protects that.
Where are search teams looking currently? And are they law enforcement-led search teams?
We have no physical search teams on the ground like doing grid search right now. We have resources and law enforcement partners that are out in the field following up tips and leads. But as far as a grid search right now, we're still trying to narrow down geographic areas.
And do we know the exact date and exact, like, confirmed location that she wants?
Hey guys, I just asked you a question in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Check out the poll. Let me hear your opinion. And thanks for everyone who liked and subbed on the page. We got to 1,200 subs, so I appreciate every single one of you guys watching.
We're still analyzing
There's
that.
been, like, some say Salt Lake City, some say the national park.
You know, the information, there's a lot of information coming through. We have to analyze that information. We have to vet that information.
This was from 3 weeks ago.
Stuff that we found in the van is being analyzed. Not that I know of.
And was Northport Police aware of her mental health issues before the Moab report came out?
I'm not aware of any of them.
Are you able to tell us what you found in the van? I know yesterday you said you were not.
No, right now the data, the stuff that we found in the van is being analyzed. I don't know if it has any.
I mean, I did see someone ask if someone has to report the car stolen. I mean, I feel like it should have just been assumed when the owner of the car was nowhere to be found and only there, like that. It's not technically someone reported it stolen, but when you report the person missing, and you can put 2 and 2 together that, hey, he's here with the car and she's nowhere to be found. It probably would have been weak, but I mean, you could have gotten him. I don't know how that would stand. Let me hear your guys' opinion.
Evidentiary value to it or not. Obviously, this was a van used by the both of them, which personal belongings and stuff are in there. Whether or not it has anything to do with the case, we don't know.
I know you tweeted at the attorney. How frustrating is this for you personally?
I want to bring Gabby home, you know. So, of course it's frustrating.
And he answered us
us, we asked him about your tweet, and he said no comment. Your response, sir?
Where's Gabby? That's my response.
No, emotionally for you, as a father, as a human being, talk about what this case is triggering for you.
This isn't about me. This is about Gabby, and that's where I want to keep the focus.
No, I know, but, just looking at her face, talking with her family, how is this, does that, elicit any response from you to
Well,
try harder?
it's driving us to keep working. I mean, long hours, long days. It gives us the momentum to keep going forward.
Have any of the social media platforms reached out to your agency as part of the investigation and offered up any of the metadata?
We have great cooperation with the social media platforms out there.
How difficult is it, as you guys are here, she possibly went missing over there, geographically speaking, how difficult is that for the investigation?
We have partners federally and locally that we can reach out and touch. One of the reasons of asking the assistance of the FBI to come in is they have a long-reaching arm. So I'm confident with what we're doing here and the tips and the information that's being funneled out west. I'm confident that system is moving effectively.
Two more questions.
The Petito family said yesterday that what happened in Wyoming happened. It indicates that they know that something did occur in Wyoming and that there's information that we're not aware of or that's not being given to us and maybe being withheld from you. Do you know what happened in Wyoming? Do you know what they meant?
The fact of the matter is Gabby is missing, and I think that's what they're referring to.
Of course, but
Gabby's missing.
this is a huge investigation. You have internet press from all across the country here, and if there's something that's part of the story that's not being told, I think the public has a duty to understand.
You're looking into something that's not there. I think what the family's position on it was she went missing. The last area was out in Wyoming, so she's not here. So where is she?
No, Utah police aren't ruling out, it's really tough to talk about, but they're not ruling out any connection to possible homicides that happened there as well. Have you guys looked into that? Is there anything you can tell us in relation to that?
We have communication going back and forth with Grand County Sheriff's Office. We provided them with whatever information we could. They don't have any suspect information right now, so you would have to refer that to them, but they told us that they're looking at everything at this point.
Kim, one last question.
I feel like this car thing is a whole debate in the chat right now. I feel like, I mean, he has one opinion, and then he has another. But I feel like if he's not listed on the car, which I don't know, it should have just been, yeah, you can't say it's stolen because then we could say, oh, she got back to Florida. But see, they didn't know because everyone was staying silent about her. So I feel like if the boyfriend's gonna go and stay silent about his girlfriend and then keep the car, we might as well just say that's a stolen vehicle rather than just say, oh, it's not your car, let me take it. Like, you have to do something. But we'll never know. I would love to see, what's it called? Dog the Bounty Hunter? So it's just US Weekly confirming the same thing. And TMZ reported it too. Oh. I didn't even know he was trying to make a show out of this. How wild. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub.
The hunt for Brian.
Let's check out Inside Edition's take on this while I go use the bathroom. And yeah.
Laundrie goes on.
I do believe Brian Laundrie is very close to home, if not in Florida, a neighboring state.
Seth Ferranti is a former drug dealer who faked his own suicide before going on the run. He had plenty of help, and he believes Laundrie has help too.
You need resources. Without resources, you're not going to be able to stay on the run. So I definitely think he's hiding out somewhere, probably in an apartment somewhere, with a friend or a relative. I definitely believe his parents have indirect contact with him, a friend, a relative that is talking to them and talking to Brian.
After 2 years on the run, constantly changing his appearance, Ferranti says he grew careless. He began contacting family members and old associates, and that led to his capture by the U.S. Marshals.
You can only hide in isolation for so long. Eventually he's going to want to step out, and that's what I did. He makes one mistake, they're going to pounce, and they're going to get him.
And Gabby Petito's mother visited Northport over the weekend to collect items from a memorial put up in her honor. As she left, she tweeted, "Goodbye, Florida. Thank you for showing us so much love."
The city of Northport, Florida will be taking down the memorial tomorrow, with all items being sent to the Petito family. Work has now begun on a permanent memorial to Gabby.
Hey, I see you guys are asking about call-ins. I'll probably do it in about 15 minutes. Stick around, and yeah, we'll definitely take our first call on the situation. I want to hear what you guys have to think, especially about the car, because that's kind of, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer or an expert in any state law, but that's a red flag, and I'm pretty sure most of you agree. But again, like you guys said, some of you said, it probably has to be reported stolen, or a number of things have to happen before they could just say, hey, Brian actually stole this car. Great speculation, but it's not concrete evidence, as one of you guys put it.
Do you guys feel guilty about Gabby? Is there a reason the FBI thinks you're not telling the truth? Do you know where Brian's passport is? Do you have anything to say about Gabby? A lot of the neighbors think you guys know more than you're saying. They're dropped off the sign. They want you to know that they're concerned that you guys know more than you're saying.
There they go, picking up baskets. I just wonder who put baskets on there. Oh, for their dirty laundry. That just hit me. Yeah, they have a lot of dirty laundry there.
About Gabby?
There.
Is there a reason the FBI thinks you're not telling the truth? Do you know where Brian's passport is?
I do want to see this again, cause maybe today or this week. Probably this week. Someone did, like, what's it called? Hammer in a sign right in front of their home. I mean, while I'm looking for it, just watch the Dog the Bounty Hunter go to their house.
My daughter in an infrared. I mean, they're
Well, kind of thing.
can't catch him. You know, the only reason I
Yeah, I saw him. They went for a walk in the neighborhood. That was about all I saw.
Okay, so
Be right back,
so you
guys.
saw him. Okay, September. I'm sure you don't remember the day, right?
I want to say it was Thursday or Friday before we knew Gabby was missing.
Okay, great. So what did you see?
They, as a family, the mom, dad, and him came out to take a stroll in the neighborhood. That was really all.
You didn't think anything of it?
No, not at all.
Looked like a normal interaction.
Yeah, we'd seen them do that before, so it never seemed strange to us that they would go for a walk through the neighborhood. So.
And then Gabby, over the last 2 years, you used to see her all the time?
They actually hadn't been in the house for the last 2 years.
Okay.
The whole family, they didn't actually, there was somebody renting the house.
I read that, yeah.
And so, but once they moved in, we did see her occasionally.
Yeah.
Not very often. We saw Brian more so as they were working on the van, but we didn't see her terribly often, every now and then.
So you saw him working on the van. What was he doing?
Woodwork, putting up paneling or making a bench, it looked like, of some sort in the van. We didn't know that they were converting the van. We just knew that they were working on it. So.
And when you saw him come back, your initial reaction was he's back from his trip.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, I didn't know that she formally lived here. I thought maybe she was visiting. So, because we just, they hadn't been here very long, so I didn't know if she was just a girlfriend visiting and that sort of thing.
What's your reaction to all this now? How are you? You guys have been the front row seat to this thing. How are you feeling?
It's very surreal. Very surreal in the sense that you just never expect to see or know somebody in your neighborhood that was either with somebody and had something terrible happen, or could have been, much less actually the perpetrator of something terrible happening to somebody.
And the Laundries, how well do you know them, the parents?
Not very well, just to say hi on the street and that sort of deal. So that was usually about the extent of it.
All right, guys. Let's see. All right, guys. I just dropped the number. Wait, let me. It's ready. What you think. Just pin the number. Waiting for a call so I can answer one of you guys' calls and we can talk on the situation. Right.
Do you feel, look, you're a taxpayer of Florida. You're a taxpayer of the United States. There's a lot going on right now looking for him. Do you kind of wish that the parents were talking a little bit more, or not? Do you think
if they have
I'm waiting for that call in, guys.
I would love to say, please
I want to hear your opinions. Let me know what you have to think.
If they don't have knowledge, then there's only so much they can do. I think it's yes, it's crazy that they're going through this just for one person, but I really hope it's a fruitful search. That if nothing else, at least it provides answers to what the heck happened.
Call from Hi, Cynthia. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello?
Alex.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's Cynthia. I was just on the live thread.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yes. Am I live on the feed?
Yeah, you should be live.
Yeah, you know what I've been trying to like get people's attention. There's these videos on YouTube that these two psychics did live, right? And there's a part 1 and part 2, and it was rather scary. And they were not next to each other, but they were chatting with each other live.
Mhm.
And they discussed the fact that Gabby and Brian went to this place during the evening where there's a ledge and you're not allowed to cross over. And they met up with a bunch of people, and it's kind of like a portal there of really bad energy. And then it says like do not cross over, and then they crossed over, and they described like Gabby and Brian were, you know, in a scuffle pushing each other. But they're saying the reason he ran and he's hiding is the fact that he saw Gabby's body get airlifted, like bend in the air, like up, down, up, down, up, down, and like being thrown over the ledge. And then that's where, you know, she was found. It was rather scary. You know what I mean? I was wondering if
Mhm.
anybody saw that video.
I haven't. You know
It's
what it's
by
called?
Quantum. Yeah, Quantum, QUANTUM, Reality, RV. And there's a part 1 and a part 2. And it just left me speechless. And they were saying if I was a jury and I knew this, that he would not be guilty. And it was just mind blowing, the live chat, you know?
Mhm.
But they were also reciting the psychics, like how many people die in that area unknown. And they're saying that they know in Wyoming that there is a vortex there, some energy, and it's dark. And they said Brian had a nervous breakdown, and that's why he ran, you know, like he's still in
Yeah.
disbelief of what occurred. But they said her body is so bruised, like her pancreas was busted, her kidney, like, you know, so I'm waiting for the autopsy. You know
Oh
what
yeah,
I
that
mean?
that actually comes out tomorrow.
I know,
Definitely
I
tune
heard
into
you
the
on the
live.
live chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we'll do that tomorrow.
at 12:30 Mountain
Absolutely.
Time.
Yes.
So
Just,
yeah, everything's wild about the case. I
it's
definitely
real though.
appreciate you
I live
for.
right near I live near the Petitos, so, you
Oh,
know,
you
it's,
live in Florida, like
well,
near Northport?
no, the Petitos in Blue
Oh.
Point.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so, it's, you know, it's pretty emotional over here when you go to these shopping centers with, you know, the memorials. But, I mean, I was just curious if anybody saw the video.
Oh, I
Because it
haven't,
hasn't
but
left me. Because yeah, you got to take a look at it. It was a little scary and
mm,
jarring to believe. You know.
yeah, maybe more people might check it out after this. Thanks for letting us know.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna get back on the live chat. Thanks for picking up.
No problem. Thanks for calling in.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
okay. All right.
All right.
Bye bye now.
Bye. Have a great one. Okay. And we're back. Any more live callers? I appreciate Cynthia for calling in. I'm the end of. And we've got another caller. Let's take this.
Call from.
Hey, Mike, you did retired.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. So I want to go a couple of things with a couple of your subscribers.
Wait,
Number one.
is it possible to speak up a little bit? You're kind of low on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on here. Not as well.
All right, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
All right. So I want to go over a couple of things with your subscribers because I see that throwing stuff out there. Number one, Brian Laundrie
Search for
did
Brian.
not leave on a boat when he's at Port DeSoto. The FBI has probably went to maritime law and researched any boats that may have pulled up there. Okay, and that probably led to a dead end. Okay, that's number one. Another thing is that he brought up, maybe he jumped on a private airplane. Since 9/11, okay, because I am a 9/11 survivor.
Oh wow.
Since 9/11, okay, all traffic that leaves the United States are transcripted.
Yeah, he definitely
So,
can't get on a plane.
yeah, so if a private pilot turn around and says, "Listen, I'm taking off such and such day to go to, let's say, Cuba, okay, or Hawaii or Mexico," they need to document, number one, is the passengers, okay, because God forbid they crash or end up in the water for some mechanical reasons, that they know who they're looking for.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right, so that's tracked, okay. This slime bag is still either in Florida or where he's comfort. And his comfort zone is the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, I've heard a lot of that.
now, yeah, now if a lot of people search the Appalachian Mountains, they do have cabins. There is cabins along the Appalachian Mountains where you can crash for the night or days, whatever it may be. Uh, that is a possibility. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I
The,
think we saw one of those cabins earlier in the live, like how it's just free water and free beds for any hikers who are traveling through. So it's very much possible he could be in one of those type of cabins, just leaving it out or roughing it out.
oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. And then there's questions about his attorney not divulging his location. Listen, attorney and client privileges are to an extent. Okay,
Hmm.
so if the attorney know where he's at, the attorney needs to divulge that. He's his only job is to protect his rights. That's it.
Yeah.
So if he's in Bangor, Maine, all right, he's in Bangor, Maine. The attorney says he's in Bangor, Maine. This is the address. Pick him up, and he's already been advised not to say anything. And that's what the Laundries have been advised to, because they will be liable. They would be liable if they kept where he's at a secret.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You understand? So a lot of people are like speculating on uh, out of the wind stuff. Uh, Northport PD, they're saying Northport PD dropped the ball. No, North PD, they did not drop the ball. You can only follow somebody for a certain period of time before they seek an attorney.
Hmm.
And hey, I'm being harassed. I'm being followed. I ain't doing anything wrong. So they did what they could do legally, legally, in order to protect themselves.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they followed them around. They went here, they went there, and they may even follow them to the campgrounds. And they're probably like, "All right, he's here. He ain't going anywhere." And they called off the tail, whatever the case may be. It's based off the the main detective that was doing all the surveillance. I'm not saying I'm not. Listen, I'm not putting a blame. I'm
Hmm.
not putting a blame, because law enforcement does have a certain amount of extent where they can say, no, we cannot do this.
Yeah.
If he's committing a crime, oh no, we can't do this right now, because our surveillance is based off of we want to get him on murder. We want to get him on murder. We don't want to get him on maybe blowing a traffic violation or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
All right. So Northport may have more information that they're not divulging,
Probably.
which the FBI told them, do not divulge this information, all right? And the FBI may know where Brian is. That's another thing, all right? They may want to still build a case because we still have not heard on how Gabby died. Nobody
Yeah.
knows.
I think the autopsy on that's coming out tomorrow.
It takes, listen, being retired with NYPD, autopsy sometimes takes weeks, depending on the state of the body. Okay, because you have a coroner. What the coroner's job is, start picking apart the body, and it's morbid. It is morbid, but it's start picking apart the body. Okay, so they start picking apart the body, and the brain may be sent off to a anthropologist. The bones, if she had bones, again, may be sent off to an anthropologist. Uh, blood splatter, that may be sent off to a different individual. It takes a long time. People think that all right, we found the body, gunshot wounds. All right, let's send it off to a coroner. Coroner's gonna look at the body. Say, yeah, this bullet hole, that bullet hole, that's what killed him. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's a lot more.
It does not work that way. It takes a long time to get a coroner's report. Right? Yes, the main coroner ruled a homicide, but it takes some time because it's just not the coroner that showed up. It takes at least 6, 7, maybe 8 people involved to look at her body and examine all her organs. It's not a 1, 2, 3 deal. It does not happen. And people are like, "Oh, the coroner ruled a homicide." Okay, what was the cause? That doesn't work. Doesn't work. And the FBI does not want to release that as well because when they pull him in, they want to question him about this stuff.
Yeah, true. They don't want him to have a defense because he already knows what he's up against.
Yeah. The FBI, listen, it's like playing poker.
Yeah, you can't show your hand.
Yeah. I got my cards. What cards you got?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then there's pictures that circulate, which make you laugh. That he's in a bunker with his hands coming out. I was laughing about that. That was a joke. So, and just to fill you on, people are very questioned any excavation they did there or any digging. No, there was. Listen, you need a permit to dig a bunker. That's number one. And number two, you need an inspector come in and say, all right, this bunker's good. There's no bunker, dude. It makes me laugh. And I'm imagining the FBI is laughing the same way. Like, there is no bunker in their backyard.
Yeah.
That's done.
No.
That's done.
The city would definitely know. Like,
Yeah.
you'd have to get plans to get it approved and then
he's
build
not
it.
in the house. Yeah, people will always say he's in the house. He's in the house. He's not in the house. The FBI's been in the house, and that's fucking retarded. All right, so that debunks that. What I can say, being I'm retired 25 years. NYPD,
Mm-hmm.
5 years as a homicide detective. Okay, I've been to a lot of homicides. Okay, my belief, and this is what the FBI is probably focusing on, is he's not the nature preserve was a plausible thing because the parents say, "Oh, you went to the nature preserve," they'll look for evidence.
Yeah.
They will look for evidence. They want some type of evidence, maybe cell phones, maybe anything. They'll look for evidence. They knew it was a long shot. They'll look for evidence. He is going to be a place where he's comfortable. And he hiked the Appalachian Mountains, okay? And there's been people that report seeing him, this, that, and the other thing. People don't realize the Appalachian Mountains have shelters. They do. They do have shelters, okay? Which I believe he may be at, okay? But, case may be, he is in the United States somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take some time. I believe the Laundrie family, sooner or later, are going to crack. They're tired of the signs. They're tired of stuff being thrown on the lawn.
Yeah.
They're tired of bullhorns. Listen, I mean, they're in their fucking 60s. They're tired. Sooner or later, they're going to crack. Or maybe a sister may crack. I would concentrate on the sister. Only reason being is the sister has kids. They have kids. So if you pressure her and continue the pressure on her, I think she will crack. I don't know if they actually know where he's at. They could be telling the truth. Listen, hey, he left and he went in the woods and this is what he does and everything else. Okay, fine, Danny. All right. So he's a woodsman. Let's say woodsman. I wouldn't say survivalist because you know what? A lot of our military guys, being in the army, I was considered a survivalist because I can go off the land. I know what I could eat and what I couldn't eat, and that's where we were trained. So he is a semi-survivalist, and he may have a book on plants and food, but you know what? It's getting cold.
Yeah, I don't think he could beat winter, but
No,
we'll see.
it's getting cold. So if he's on the Appalachian Trail, as many people are saying he is, I would start working that trail. Now, I'm not saying the FBI is not working it. They could be.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not involved in it. They could be working it. They obviously cleared the Fort DeSoto area and everything else. So, you know what? The funny thing with the FBI, so let me backtrack a little bit. My father was a longshoreman, okay, for 20 years. My father was told to do a job that was not entailed in his contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so they threw him off what they call as a guarantee. A guarantee is you're basically a union contract. They threw him off of it. And my father refused to do anything. So the FBI came and they knocked on his door and says, "Hey, we want to talk to you about your union contract." So my father gave them all the information they knew. I mean, he's involved with my father knew Jimmy Hoffa and gave all the information that he had about Jimmy. Jim, according to my father when I was younger, Jimmy was good people. He was all about the men. But let me skip it forward. The FBI is not going to divulge what they have to anybody. Nobody.
No, they'll probably keep it a secret till trial.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I am sure, almost 100% positive they told Suffolk County PD, because I'm from New York, they already told Suffolk County Police Department, don't open your mouths anymore. They already told Northport PD, do not open your mouths anymore. Okay? We are handling this investigation, and this is what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But I can tell you now, the primary suspect, yes, it's Brian Laundrie. Secondary is the parents. So the FBI will never, ever show their hands. So when they are very, 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 very ready to start indictments, the Laundrie family is going to be included.
Yeah, yeah, because they have like a 95% conviction or 90 something percent conviction rating, so they know what they're doing, and they definitely will keep it a secret if it helps uh helps their conviction or helps their case. So I completely agree with you.
And what you know what? Even what's more sad about this case is that everybody in God's creation is showing what's going on, and nobody stop and realize, like this scumbag may be watching the news media. Nobody realized that. He could be on Facebook, he could be on Fox News or CNN, and he's watching all this happening. So now he knows what's going on. That's another reason why the FBI wants to keep this hush hush. Stop. And everybody's talking about the dog, the bounty hunter. And what I want to say about the dog, all due respect, he's got a lot of guys. I think the FBI told him to stop.